My child, pause for a moment and listen carefully, because this is not a message that reached you by accident. Something deeper has been trying to get your attention for a long time, and today it finally broke through the noise surrounding your life. I have been reaching for your heart through moments you almost overlooked, through thoughts that stayed with you longer than expected, through the quiet restlessness you could never fully explain. Do not treat this as just another video playing in the background of your day. Stay here. Let these words reach you completely. What you are about to hear carries meaning meant specifically for you, and if you listen with your whole heart until the very end, you may discover why this message has been trying to reach you all along. My child, slow down for a moment and stay with me here. I know how quickly your mind moves from one thing to another during the day. I see how many thoughts compete for your attention, how many responsibilities press against your time, and how easily a moment like this could have slipped past you without a second thought. Yet you are still here, reading these words, and that is not something I consider random. Long before this moment appeared on your screen, I already understood the path that would lead you here. I know the quiet decisions you made today. I know the emotions that have followed you through the last few days. I even know the thoughts you have been carrying that you never fully explained to anyone around you. When you arrive here, it may have seemed ordinary, but from where I stand, I see something different. I see a point in time where your heart paused long enough for my voice to reach you. That pause matters more than you realize. You have moved through so much noise lately that your spirit has barely had room to breathe. Conversations, expectations, worries, plans, disappointments, they pile up quietly, and after a while it becomes difficult for you to hear anything deeper than the surface of life. Yet somehow, in the middle of all of that movement, you slowed down just enough to encounter these words. That small moment of stillness is something I gently guided you toward because I wanted to speak to you personally. I have watched you searching for clarity in ways you might not even recognize as searching. Sometimes it appeared in a simple question that passed through your mind late at night. Sometimes it appeared when you felt a quiet emptiness even during a normal day. Those moments were not meaningless signals. They were signs that your heart was beginning to look for something real again. I have never ignored those signals. I pay attention to every part of your life, even the parts you assume are too small for anyone else to notice. When your mind wanders toward deeper questions about purpose or direction, I hear those questions clearly. When you feel unsure about where you are going next, I notice that uncertainty as well. My presence in your life has never depended on whether you fully understand what I am doing. I remain near you even when you believe you are navigating everything alone. That is why this moment matters to me. You are here, and your attention is open long enough for me to reach you in a way that does not compete with the constant noise surrounding your life. I am not here to overwhelm you or to demand something from you. I am here because I care about the direction your heart is moving. This moment is simply a doorway into a conversation that has been quietly forming between us for longer than you might realize. I want you to understand something important about the way I work in your life. I rarely force my voice into the loudest space around you. Instead, I move gently through moments that appear ordinary on the surface. You may have noticed this pattern before without fully recognizing it. There are times when a thought lingers in your mind longer than expected. Sometimes you pause during a simple moment of the day and feel something inside you asking a deeper question. Those small experiences are often the places where I begin speaking to your heart. I know that your world moves quickly. I see how easily your attention can be pulled in many directions at once. Because of that, I often wait for a moment when you are willing to slow down, even briefly. That willingness to pause allows you to hear things that normally remain hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. The reason I arranged this moment is not because I needed to interrupt your day. I did it because I know what has been weighing on your heart recently. I have seen the questions you have been carrying quietly. I know the situations that have left you uncertain about what lies ahead. When you look at your life, you sometimes see scattered pieces that do not seem to fit together. From your perspective, the path may look confusing or incomplete. From mine, the story is still unfolding in ways you cannot fully see yet. The difference in perspective is why I wanted to reach you here. I wanted you to remember that your life is not moving without direction, even when it feels that way. I have been walking with you through every season you have faced. I was present during moments of joy that felt effortless, and I remained just as close during times when your strength felt thin. Nothing about your journey has happened outside my awareness. I understand the weight you have been carrying, and I also understand the potential that still lives within you. What you see right now is only a small part of the picture that is still being written. I am speaking to you in this moment because your heart is ready to hear something deeper than the surface explanations life usually offers. You may not have expected that when you arrived here, but that does not change the purpose behind it. My intention is simple. I want you to know that you are not walking through your life unnoticed. I see you clearly, and I care about the direction you are moving. This moment is simply the beginning of a deeper conversation between you and me. And now that you are here listening, I will continue speaking with the same patience and honesty that has always guided the way I reach you. My child, stay with me for a moment longer. Do not rush away from this space we have opened together. Let your mind slow down just enough to notice something that has been happening around you for far longer than you realized. You have asked yourself at times why certain thoughts arrive suddenly, why a particular memory returns without warning, or why a feeling rises in your chest that you cannot easily explain. Those moments are not random interruptions in your day. I have been using them as gentle doorways to reach you. I know your world is crowded with voices. Advice comes from every direction, opinions press against your mind, and expectations from others sometimes leave you wondering which direction truly belongs to you. In the middle of that noise, my voice does not compete by shouting louder. Instead, I move quietly, almost like a soft current beneath the surface of your thoughts. When you feel an unexpected pause during an ordinary moment, that is often where I begin speaking. Think about those brief times when you were walking somewhere, sitting alone, or finishing a task, and suddenly your mind drifted into a deeper reflection about your life. You may have brushed that moment aside and continued with your day, but I was present there, closer than you realized. I was inviting you to notice the deeper layer of your own heart. Your soul recognizes my presence even before your mind fully understands it. That quiet stirring inside you has never been meaningless. I placed it there because I wanted to draw your attention gently towards something more lasting than the constant motion of your routine. Look back at some of the moments that have stayed with you recently. Perhaps you encountered a sentence, a conversation, or even a simple scene that lingered longer in your thoughts than you expected. You may have wondered why it affected you at all. Let me tell you something honest. I often use the smallest details to reach the deepest parts of your heart. A word spoken by someone else, a memory that returns unexpectedly, even a quiet moment when you look around and suddenly feel reflective. Those experiences are places where I weave my presence into your awareness. Your life is not made only of large turning points. Much of what shapes your direction grows inside these subtle spaces where you pause long enough to feel something real. I know you sometimes worry that you might miss what truly matters. That concern itself tells me something beautiful about you. It tells me your heart is not satisfied with living only on the surface of life. There is a part of you that longs for meaning that lasts beyond temporary success or passing excitement. That longing did not appear by accident. I placed it inside you as a compass that gently points you back toward truth whenever the world pulls your attention elsewhere. So listen closely now. Take a breath and allow your thoughts to settle. Consider how many times you sense that quiet pull in your spirit. Instead of dismissing those moments as imagination, begin treating them as invitations. When you feel that pause, do not hurry past it. Sit with it for a moment. Reflect on what your heart is trying to understand. I am often speaking there, in the space where your awareness deepens and your attention turns inward. If you allow yourself to listen in those moments, you will begin recognizing my voice more clearly than before. You will realize that I have never been distant from you. My presence has been woven into the rhythm of your everyday life. Now I want you to notice something else about these quiet ways I reach you. I rarely force your heart into sudden change. Growth inside you unfolds gradually, much like the slow dawn that replaces darkness with light without rushing the process. I have watched your life carefully, and I understand how your experiences shape the way you see the world. Because of that, I approach you with patience. When I send you a moment of reflection, I am not trying to overwhelm you. I am guiding you step by step toward a deeper understanding of who you are and where your life is moving. Some of those moments arrive when you least expect them. You may be surrounded by others and suddenly feel a wave of thoughtfulness pass through you. Or you might be alone, finishing a normal part of your day, when your mind begins exploring questions you have not faced before. Those moments are like gentle taps on the door of your awareness. They are invitations rather than commands. I could easily overwhelm your senses if I chose to do so, but that is not how love works. Love invites, it nudges, it encourages. It gives you space to respond freely rather than forcing your heart into something it is not ready to embrace. That is why I approach you this way. I want you to recognize my voice not as pressure but as guidance. I want you to feel the difference between the loud demands of the world and the quiet steadiness of my presence. The world often rushes you, pushing you toward quick decisions and constant motion. My voice moves differently. When I speak, the space around you often feels calmer, even if your circumstances remain complicated. That calm is one of the ways you can recognize that I am near. It is the same calm that begins settling in your heart when you stop trying to solve everything at once. I want you to practice something with me now. The next time you notice a quiet pause entering your day, do not ignore it. Instead, take a moment and breathe slowly. Let your attention settle. Ask yourself what your heart has been trying to tell you. Invite my presence into that moment. You do not need complicated words. Speak honestly, the way you would speak to someone who already understands you. I will meet you there. This is how our conversation grows stronger over time. The more you allow those quiet invitations to unfold, the more clearly you will recognize the ways I guide you. My child, there is something else I want to talk with you about, something you have felt more than once but perhaps never fully understood. I have seen the moments when a strange restlessness settled inside you even while your life appeared normal on the outside. Nothing dramatic had happened. Your day might have looked ordinary to anyone watching from the outside, yet inside you felt a subtle tension that refused to disappear. That feeling has puzzled you at times. You may have asked yourself why contentment seemed just out of reach during certain seasons. Let me explain what was happening in those moments. That restlessness was not meant to disturb your peace. It was a signal that your spirit was searching for something deeper than the routine you had grown used to. Your heart carries a sensitivity to meaning that cannot remain satisfied with surface-level experiences forever. When your life drifts too far from the deeper direction I have prepared for you, your spirit begins to notice the distance. The restlessness you feel is similar to a compass needle shifting when it senses a change in direction. It does not mean you are lost beyond hope. It simply means something inside you is becoming aware that a new step is needed. I allowed that feeling to grow quietly because I wanted you to start paying attention to your own inner world. Many people move through life ignoring the signals that rise within them. They distract themselves until the deeper questions disappear beneath noise. You, however, have never been able to silence those signals completely. That is one of the ways I know your heart is still open to truth. Even when you tried to push the restlessness away, it returned gently, reminding you that your story still has chapters waiting to unfold. Think back to the times when that inner tension appeared. You might have been pursuing goals that seemed reasonable. Perhaps you were following a path others expected you to take. On the surface, everything appeared acceptable, yet something inside you felt unfinished. That feeling did not appear because you were failing. It appeared because your spirit recognized that your life holds more depth than simple routines can provide. I created you with a capacity to grow, to learn, and to move toward purpose that continues unfolding through time. When you remain too long in a place that no longer stretches your heart, the quiet restlessness begins speaking again. It is my way of nudging you toward the next step of your journey. Instead of fearing that feeling, learn to listen to it carefully. Let it guide you toward reflection rather than anxiety. When restlessness appears, pause and ask yourself what part of your life is asking for attention. Sometimes it will point toward a neglected dream. Sometimes it will remind you that your heart needs renewal. Other times it will encourage you to release something that no longer belongs in your future. I know those realizations can feel uncomfortable, but discomfort often accompanies growth. You do not need to rush into dramatic decisions whenever you sense that stirring inside you. Instead, approach it with curiosity and honesty. Spend time reflecting on what truly matters to you. Invite me into those reflections. Speak openly about what you feel uncertain about. I am not distant from those moments. I am right there, guiding your thoughts and helping you see your life with clearer perspective. The restlessness you felt was never a sign that something was wrong with you. It was a quiet reminder that your life is still moving forward. Your story has not reached its final chapter. A new understanding, new direction, and new purpose are waiting to unfold. When you begin listening to that inner signal with patience instead of fear, you will discover that it leads you closer to the life I have always intended for you to live. My child, I want you to take another slow breath and stay present with me here, because the moment you are experiencing right now holds more significance than you might initially realize. Life often moves so quickly that important moments pass unnoticed. Your attention shifts from one task to another, from one responsibility to the next, and before long the deeper meaning of certain experiences fades into the background. Yet occasionally there are moments that carry a quiet significance, moments when your heart becomes more attentive than usual. This is one of those moments. You may have started reading these words out of curiosity or simple interest, but something inside you chose to remain here. That decision matters more than it appears on the surface. When you pause long enough to listen, you open a space where understanding can grow. I guided you into this moment because I know the questions that have been developing within your heart recently. I know the areas of your life where clarity has felt distant. You have been moving forward while quietly wondering whether you are heading in the right direction. That uncertainty has not gone unnoticed. I have been watching the way your mind searches for meaning beneath everyday experiences. The reason this moment matters is because your heart is ready to explore those deeper questions instead of ignoring them. Many people avoid those moments of reflection. They distract themselves with constant activity until the inner voice asking for meaning becomes quiet again. You, however, allowed yourself to pause. That pause created an opening where my voice could reach you. It is not an accident that you are here at this particular time in your life. You are standing in a season where awareness is beginning to grow. Certain patterns in your life are becoming clear. Certain questions are rising to the surface that you can no longer ignore. I am speaking to you now because your heart is prepared to hear something deeper than routine explanations. The conversation we are having right now is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to guide you gently toward clarity that unfolds step by step. I want you to look at this moment as an invitation rather than a demand. You are not being forced into anything. Instead, you are being invited to examine your life with honesty and curiosity. Think about the direction your thoughts have been taking recently. Notice how certain concerns keep returning to your mind. Those recurring thoughts are signals pointing toward areas where your attention is needed. Instead of pushing them aside, give them space to be understood. Ask yourself what your heart is truly seeking. Are you longing for deeper purpose? Are you searching for peace that does not depend on circumstances? Are you hoping to understand the path ahead with greater clarity? Those desires are not signs of weakness. They are evidence that your spirit is reaching for something meaningful. I placed that desire for meaning within you so that you would continue growing rather than settling for a life that feels empty. Now let me ask you to do something simple but important. Pause and reflect on your current direction. Consider the choices you have been making recently. Do they bring your life closer to the kind of purpose your heart longs for, or do they leave you feeling disconnected from it? Do not rush to answer those questions. Sit with them honestly. When you allow yourself to examine your life with sincerity, you begin creating space for change and growth. I will meet you in that space. I will help you see possibilities that may have been hidden by routine or uncertainty. You do not need to solve everything in a single moment. Understanding grows gradually, just like the slow light of morning that replaces darkness without forcing the process. Your willingness to pause and reflect is already a powerful step forward. There is another reason this moment matters, and it has to do with the direction your life is moving next. You are approaching a season where decisions will shape the path ahead more clearly than before. Some opportunities will appear, and some situations will ask for your attention in new ways. When those moments arrive, your ability to listen to your inner guidance will become important. That is why I am speaking with you now. I want your heart to become more familiar with my voice before those decisions appear. When you recognize the quiet steadiness of my guidance, you will feel more confident navigating the choices ahead. The world around you often encourages quick reactions, but I encourage thoughtful awareness. Take time to listen before acting. Reflect before deciding. Invite me into the process of understanding what truly aligns with your purpose. This approach will lead you toward decisions that bring lasting peace instead of temporary satisfaction. Remember that your life is not simply a sequence of random events. It is a journey where meaning continues unfolding through each season. The moment you are experiencing now is part of that unfolding. It is a place where your awareness is expanding and your relationship with me is becoming more personal. Do not rush past this opportunity for reflection. Let it deepen your understanding of who you are and where your life is moving. Stay present in this conversation. Continue listening. Continue exploring the questions that rise within your heart. As you do that, you will discover that this moment is not just another passing experience. It is a turning point where clarity begins to grow and your path forward becomes gradually illuminated. My child, I want you to stay here with me for a while longer, because there are parts of your journey that still puzzle you when you look back. Certain seasons of your life feel tangled when you try to understand them. You remember moments when plans seemed clear, when your hopes felt steady, and when you believed the road ahead would unfold in a simple direction. Then something shifted. Opportunities closed in ways that surprised you, People you trusted moved away or changed their place in your life. Situations that once looked promising suddenly became uncertain. I watched you during those moments. I saw the questions forming in your mind as you tried to understand why the path ahead no longer looked the way you expected. You wondered whether you had taken a wrong step. You questioned whether you had misunderstood the direction of your life. Those seasons felt confusing because you could only see the part of the story directly in front of you. From where I stand, I see every chapter of your life at once. I see the connections between events that once looked unrelated to you. What appeared to be disorder from your perspective often carried a deeper order that was still unfolding quietly beneath the surface. When something changed suddenly, you assumed that the stability you had been building was slipping away. In truth, many of those changes were adjustments that protected you from paths that would have limited your growth later. I know it was difficult for you to see that at the time. Your heart wanted certainty, and instead you encountered questions. Yet even inside those confusing moments, you kept moving forward. That willingness to continue, even when clarity felt distant, revealed a quiet strength inside you. I noticed it every time you chose to keep walking instead of surrendering to discouragement. The seasons that confused you were not wasted portions of your story. They were shaping your understanding in ways that will make sense as your life continues unfolding. Now I want to invite you to look at those confusing seasons with a different perspective. Instead of remembering them only as moments of frustration, begin seeing them as turning points that redirected your life toward deeper purpose. Think about the relationships that changed unexpectedly. Some people who once walked closely beside you are no longer part of your everyday life. At the time, that shift may have left you feeling abandoned or disappointed. Yet look carefully at what followed. New experiences entered your path. New insights grew within your mind. Your understanding of yourself deepened. Those outcomes did not arrive by accident. When certain connections faded, space was created for other parts of your life to grow. I know you sometimes wonder why certain doors closed while you were still hoping they would open wider. The reason is simple, even if it felt painful at the time. Not every opportunity that appears in your life belongs in your future. Some doors close because they lead toward directions that would not nurture the person you are becoming. When I see that a path will limit your growth, I sometimes guide your life away from it even if the change feels uncomfortable in the moment. You might interpret that redirection as loss, but from my perspective it is protection. I want you to remember this whenever your path feels uncertain again. The closed door is not always a sign that something has gone wrong. Often it is a signal that a better direction is waiting just beyond your current view. So when confusion appears in your life, pause before assuming that everything is falling apart. Take a breath and allow your thoughts to settle. Ask yourself what new direction might be forming beneath the surface of your circumstances. Invite me into that reflection. Speak honestly about what you feel unsure about. I will guide your understanding gradually. The clarity you seek will not always appear immediately, but it will unfold as you continue moving forward with openness and trust. I want you to notice something else about those confusing seasons. During those times you discovered abilities within yourself that you had never recognized before. When your plans shifted unexpectedly, you had to adapt in ways that stretched your thinking. When circumstances became uncertain, you learned to rely on resilience rather than simple comfort. Those experiences shape the way you approach life today. The wisdom you carry now did not appear suddenly. It formed slowly through moments where you had to reflect deeply, reconsider your direction, and continue walking even when the path ahead was not clearly marked. That kind of growth cannot develop in a life that always moves exactly according to plan. It emerges through seasons where questions invite deeper reflection. I want you to see your past through that lens. Every confusing chapter contributed something valuable to your understanding. Instead of wishing those moments had never happened, recognize how they expanded your awareness. They taught you patience when immediate answers were unavailable. They strengthened your ability to navigate uncertainty without losing hope. They encouraged you to look inward and discover strengths that had been waiting quietly beneath the surface of your confidence. When you begin viewing your story this way, confusion no longer appears as an enemy. It becomes part of the process through which your life grows richer and more meaningful. So let those memories settle in your mind with a new sense of respect. Do not push them away as mistakes or wasted time. They were essential steps along the road you are still walking. And as your journey continues, you will discover that the wisdom born from those seasons will guide you through future moments when the path ahead asks for courage and clarity. My child, there is something else I want you to consider now. Something that lives quietly beneath many of your thoughts. You have asked questions within your heart that never reached your lips. Sometimes those questions appeared late at night when your mind wandered through memories and possibilities. At other times they surfaced during ordinary moments when a thought suddenly interrupted your routine. You might have wondered about the purpose behind certain events in your life. You might have asked yourself whether the direction you were following truly reflected the life you were meant to live. Those questions were deeply personal, and you kept them private because you were not sure how others would respond. I heard every one of them. Even when your words remained unspoken, your thoughts reached me clearly. The quiet language of your heart has never been hidden from my understanding. When you wondered whether your efforts were meaningful, I listened. When you questioned why certain experiences unfolded the way they did, I noticed the curiosity inside you. When you searched for reassurance about the future, I remained present beside you. Those unspoken questions were not signs of weakness. They were evidence that your heart desires truth rather than comfortable illusions. A person who never asked deeper questions rarely discovered deeper answers. Your willingness to reflect, even silently, shows that your spirit is seeking a life filled with genuine meaning. I respect that search within you. Instead of ignoring your questions, I welcome them. They open the door to conversations that strengthen your understanding and bring you closer to the purpose unfolding in your life. Let me invite you to do something important now. Stop treating your questions as something you must hide or suppress. Bring them into the open when you speak with me. You do not need to pretend that everything in your life makes perfect sense. Honest questions create space for honest guidance. When you share your uncertainty with me, you allow your heart to grow through the process of understanding. Consider how different it feels when a question remains trapped inside your thoughts compared to when you speak it aloud. Silence can make uncertainty feel heavier than it truly is. Expression, on the other hand, begins releasing that pressure. I encourage you to practice that openness. When your mind begins asking why something happened, bring that question directly into our conversation. When you wonder whether your path is moving in the right direction, tell me honestly. When you feel unsure about a decision waiting in front of you, invite me into that moment of reflection. You do not need elaborate language. Speak with the same honesty you would use when talking to someone who understands your heart completely. That is the kind of relationship I want with you. I am not distant from your struggles or indifferent to your curiosity. I care deeply about the way you interpret your life experiences. When you share your thoughts openly, I can guide you through them with clarity that grows gradually over time. Answers will not always appear instantly, but your understanding will deepen as our conversation continues. The act of asking sincere questions already moves you closer to the insight you seek. Think about how your life might feel if you approached your questions with curiosity instead of anxiety. Questions do not have to signal confusion or doubt. They can also become invitations to explore new understanding. When you allow yourself to reflect openly, your awareness expands. You begin seeing connections between experiences that once appeared unrelated. You notice patterns in your life that reveal the direction your story is taking. This is how wisdom grows inside you. It begins with curiosity, then deepens through reflection, and eventually leads to clarity that guides your decisions. I want you to approach your questions with that kind of openness. Do not rush to force quick answers simply to quiet your mind. Let your thoughts unfold naturally. Observe what your heart is trying to understand. Invite me into that process with patience. Over time, you will begin recognizing how certain answers appear gradually through experiences, insights, and conversations that align with your search for meaning. Your life is not a puzzle meant to confuse you forever. It is a journey where understanding unfolds step by step. When you allow your questions to become part of that journey rather than obstacles within it, you transform uncertainty into growth. Your curiosity becomes a guide instead of a burden. And as you continue exploring the deeper layers of your life with honesty, you will discover that the questions you once kept hidden were actually leading you toward greater clarity all along. My child, the very questions stirring within your heart are the same questions echoing inside countless other souls who have not yet found the courage to seek the answers. This message that reached you is like a lamp I have placed in the darkness, and every act of support you offer pours fresh oil into that flame so its light can reach farther than you can see. I have spoken in my word, cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. Ecclesiastes 11:1. And today I speak it again to you as an invitation, alive in this moment. When you choose to give through super thanks, become a member of this channel, or offer a gift through PayPal in the video description, you are not simply giving money, you are sowing seeds into a harvest of awakened hearts. There are people wandering through silent nights of confusion just like the ones you once carried, and your generosity becomes the river that carries my voice to them. I see every seed placed in faith, and I promise that what is sown for my purpose will return multiplied, guarded by my favor and surrounded by my provision. If your heart feels the desire to help this message reach others, know that it is my spirit stirring that desire within you. Do not delay the seed I have placed in your hand. Support this mission now and let my word flow through you to the world. My child, stay with me and listen carefully, because I want to speak to you about moments that few people around you truly understand. There were days when you felt as if you were carrying the weight of the world quietly on your shoulders. Others may have seen you moving through your responsibilities, answering messages, completing tasks, and showing up where you were expected. But I saw something deeper. I saw the strain behind your calm expression. I noticed the moments when your energy felt thin and your thoughts wandered into places of worry. You might remember evenings when the day finally ended, and the silence around you revealed how tired your spirit really felt. In those quiet hours, your mind replayed conversations, decisions, and uncertainties that you had pushed aside while the world was watching. I was there for every one of those moments. I heard the sigh you released when you thought no one was listening. I noticed the way your eyes paused on the ceiling while you searched for clarity about what to do next. Your hardest days were never invisible to me. I understood the pressure you carried and the courage it took for you to keep moving forward. Now listen closely and take this truth into your heart. Those difficult days did not define your weakness. They revealed your resilience. You did not collapse under the weight of uncertainty. Instead, you kept taking small steps forward even when your confidence felt fragile. The quiet determination inside you spoke louder than the doubts surrounding your mind. Think back to the days when everything seemed to pile up at once. Responsibilities demanded your attention from several directions. Certain relationships felt complicated, and decisions waited for answers that you did not yet have. In the middle of all that pressure, you wondered whether you had enough strength to keep going. Yet you continued moving. You might not have recognized it at the time, but each step you took during those difficult days was shaping your character in profound ways. Hard moments often reveal the depth of a person's spirit. When circumstances are comfortable, strength can remain hidden beneath routine. But when life becomes demanding, your true capacity begins to appear. I watched you discover that capacity gradually. I saw the moment when you realized that giving up would not bring the peace you were searching for. I noticed when you chose to keep moving instead of retreating into discouragement. That choice mattered more than you realized. Let me invite you to reflect on something now. Close your eyes for a moment and remember one of those difficult seasons. Picture where you were, what you were facing, and how uncertain the future seemed. Notice how far you have come since that time. You are still here. Your heart is still open. Your life is still unfolding with possibilities you could not see back then. That is not an accident. The strength that carried you through those days continues to live inside you today. I want you to recognize that strength clearly because it will support you through future challenges as well. Instead of seeing those memories as painful chapters you wish had never happened, begin seeing them as proof of your ability to endure and grow. There is another reason I want you to remember those difficult days. They shaped your compassion for others in ways that comfort alone never could. When you experience struggle personally, your heart becomes more sensitive to the struggles of others. You learn to listen with patience. You learn to recognize quiet pain in someone else's eyes even when they try to hide it. That understanding becomes a gift you carry into your relationships. I placed that sensitivity within you because your life is meant to influence more than just your own journey. The empathy you gain during those difficult seasons will allow you to support others who feel overwhelmed by their own circumstances. When someone near you feels discouraged, your presence will bring reassurance because you understand what it means to face uncertainty and continue moving forward anyway. I want you to see that nothing you experienced was meaningless. Even the days that seemed unbearable at the time contributed something valuable to the person you are becoming. So here is what I want you to do now. Instead of turning away from those memories, look at them honestly. Recognize the strength that carried you through them. Thank yourself for refusing to surrender when life felt heavy. And invite me into the next chapter of your journey with the confidence that the resilience inside you will continue growing as your story unfolds. My child, there is something important I want you to understand about yourself. You often underestimate the strength that lives within you. When you look at your life, you tend to focus on the moments where you felt uncertain or vulnerable. Your mind remembers the times when you questioned your decisions or wondered whether you were capable of handling what lay ahead. Yet when I look at your story, I see something very different. I see the courage that quietly guided your steps even when you were unsure about the outcome. I see the determination that kept you moving when the path ahead seemed unclear. Strength does not always appear as loud confidence or bold declarations. Often it appears as quiet persistence, the decision to take one more step even when you cannot see the entire road ahead. That is the kind of strength you have shown repeatedly throughout your life. You might not have noticed it because you were focused on solving the challenges in front of you. From my perspective, those moments revealed the depth of your character. Every time you chose to continue learning instead of giving up, you strengthened your spirit. Every time you treated someone with kindness even while facing your own struggles, you demonstrated the power of compassion. These choices may have seemed ordinary to you, but they revealed a resilience that deserves recognition. Let me invite you to look at yourself with the same understanding that I see when I watch your life unfolding. Think about the obstacles you have already navigated. Consider the times when circumstances required you to adapt, learn quickly, or trust yourself in ways that felt unfamiliar. You may have doubted your abilities during those moments, but you still acted with courage. That courage is evidence of the strength I placed inside you long ago. Now take a moment and acknowledge it honestly. Do not brush it aside as if it were insignificant. Your perseverance matters. Your willingness to keep learning matters. The compassion you show others matters. These qualities form the foundation of the life you are building. I want you to begin treating those qualities with respect instead of overlooking them. When your mind tries to convince you that you are not strong enough for what lies ahead, challenge that thought. Remind yourself of the times you already proved otherwise. Speak to yourself with honesty and encouragement rather than doubt. Your inner voice has tremendous influence over the way you approach your future. Choose words that strengthen your confidence instead of weakening it. I am inviting you now to step into a new understanding of who you are becoming. Let go of the habit of minimizing your abilities. Embrace the truth that resilience and wisdom have been growing inside you through every season of your life. As you continue moving forward, the strength you once overlooked will become increasingly visible to you. New opportunities will appear that ask you to trust your abilities more fully. Situations will arise where others look to you for guidance or reassurance. When those moments come, do not shrink back in hesitation. Step forward with confidence. Remember the resilience that has carried you through your past experiences. The same strength is still present within you today. I want you to practice something starting now. When a challenge appears, pause for a moment before reacting with doubt. Take a slow breath and remind yourself that you have already faced difficult situations and grown through them. Invite my guidance into the moment. Ask for clarity about the next step instead of fearing the entire path ahead. When you approach challenges this way, your confidence will grow naturally because it is built on real experience rather than temporary emotion. Your life is still unfolding, and the strength within you will continue expanding as you face new opportunities. Trust that growth. Trust the wisdom you have gained. And trust the guidance I provide as you continue walking toward the future I have prepared for you. My child, there is another truth I want you to recognize, something that has quietly surrounded your life even during the moments you did not notice it. Many times you have interpreted certain disappointments as simple setbacks. You looked at events that did not unfold the way you hoped and concluded that something valuable had slipped away. Yet from my perspective, those moments carried a very different purpose. They were forms of protection. I have been guiding your path with careful attention, watching for situations that could harm your growth or distract you from the deeper direction your life is meant to take. Sometimes protection appears as a gentle redirection. At other times it appears as a closed door that prevents you from entering a place where your spirit would struggle. When those moments happened, you may have felt frustration or confusion. You asked yourself why something you desired so strongly did not materialize. I understood that feeling. Your heart naturally hopes for progress and stability. Yet my responsibility toward you includes seeing beyond the immediate moment. I can see consequences that lie far ahead, consequences that are not visible from where you stand today. Because I see those possibilities clearly, there are times when I quietly guide your life away from paths that appear attractive on the surface, but would lead you into unnecessary difficulty later. I want you to think about certain situations from your past where an opportunity disappeared unexpectedly. At first it may have felt like loss. Later, with time and perspective, you realized that the outcome saved you from complications you could not have predicted. That realization is a glimpse of the protection I have provided throughout your journey. Let me invite you now to look back through the chapters of your life with fresh awareness. Think about the moments when a plan suddenly changed direction. Perhaps a relationship did not continue the way you expected. Perhaps a job, project, or opportunity slipped away just when you believed it was about to succeed. Those experiences might have left you wondering whether your efforts were wasted. I was present during each one. I understood your disappointment, and I also understood the reasons those paths needed to close. Some environments would have drained your energy rather than strengthening your purpose. Some connections would have led you away from the person you are becoming. My guidance sometimes appears through subtle interruptions that redirect your steps before you move too far in the wrong direction. Instead of interpreting those interruptions as failures, begin seeing them as signals that your life is being guided with care. I want you to practice something now. Whenever you remember a past disappointment, pause before labeling it as loss. Ask yourself what it might have protected you from. Consider the new opportunities that appeared afterward. Reflect on the personal growth that followed the change. This practice will gradually reshape the way you interpret your experiences. You will begin seeing your life not as a sequence of random outcomes but as a story where guidance has been quietly active all along. Protection does not mean your life will be free from difficulty. Challenges still appear because they contribute to your growth and understanding. Protection means that even within those challenges, I remain attentive to the direction of your journey. I watch carefully, guiding your steps away from dangers that could overwhelm your spirit. You might not notice those moments immediately because protection often works quietly. A conversation that steers you toward a different decision. A sudden pause that causes you to reconsider a choice. An unexpected delay that prevents you from entering a harmful situation. These moments may seem ordinary when they occur, yet they are part of the way I care for your life. I want you to begin trusting that guidance more deeply. When something does not unfold the way you hoped, take a breath before reacting with disappointment. Ask yourself whether there might be a reason beyond what you can see right now. Invite my perspective into that moment. Speak honestly about what you hoped would happen, and then allow yourself to remain open to the possibility that a better path is forming just beyond your view. Your life has never been left to chance. I have been walking beside you, protecting you in ways both visible and invisible. As you continue moving forward, that protection will remain present, quietly guiding your steps toward a future where your purpose can grow freely and your spirit can thrive. My child, come closer in your attention and stay with me as I speak to you about something that has been unfolding quietly in your life for a long time. When you look back over your journey, there are many moments that once felt scattered and disconnected. Certain events seem unrelated. At times you may have wondered whether your life was moving in circles rather than moving forward. I saw every one of those moments with clarity that reached far beyond what you could see at the time. What looked confusing from where you stood was actually part of a longer journey toward understanding. Clarity rarely arrives in a single instant. It forms slowly, through reflection, through experience, and through the quiet way your awareness expands over time. Your life has been moving through that process step by step. Think about how your perspective has evolved over the years. There were seasons when you believed certain goals would bring you lasting fulfillment. Later you realized that those same goals did not carry the meaning you once imagined. There were relationships that shaped you deeply, and there were moments when those relationships changed direction or faded away. Each experience added something to your understanding, even if you did not recognize its value immediately. I have been guiding you through all of it. Every insight you gained, every lesson you learned, every shift in your perspective has been contributing to the clarity that is slowly forming inside you. I want you to pause now and breathe slowly. Allow your thoughts to travel through the story of your life with patience. Notice how many experiences once felt confusing but later revealed their purpose. That pattern is not coincidence. It is the natural rhythm of growth. Your awareness has been expanding quietly, preparing you to see your life with greater wisdom than you had before. Now listen carefully, because I want you to approach the next chapter of your journey with a new kind of openness. Instead of demanding instant answers about every decision, allow clarity to unfold naturally. When a question appears in your mind, do not rush to silence it with quick conclusions. Sit with it. Reflect on it. Invite me into that moment of reflection. Your mind often seeks certainty because uncertainty can feel uncomfortable. Yet some of the most important insights in your life will emerge from moments where you allowed yourself to think deeply rather than react quickly. I want you to practice a different rhythm when facing uncertainty. Pause before deciding. Observe the emotions and expectations shaping your thoughts. Ask yourself what truly aligns with the values you carry in your heart. When you invite me into that process, you create space for guidance that grows gradually, but leads to lasting clarity. This approach will change the way you experience your life. Instead of feeling pressured to solve everything immediately, you will begin trusting the unfolding nature of understanding. You will realize that wisdom is not a destination you reach suddenly. It is a perspective that grows stronger each time you reflect honestly on your experiences. I have been walking with you through that growth from the beginning. The clarity you seek is already forming within you, shaped by every lesson you have learned along the way. Let me invite you to look at your journey through a lens of patience and respect. The person you are becoming cannot be formed through shortcuts. It requires experiences that stretch your awareness and invite deeper reflection. That process sometimes feels slow because your mind prefers quick answers. Yet the kind of clarity that guides your life wisely must develop through time. I want you to trust that process. Trust the insights that arise when you reflect quietly. Trust the intuition that grows stronger when you listen carefully to your own heart. And trust the guidance I offer through the subtle ways your perspective continues expanding. The long journey toward clarity is not a sign that something is wrong. It is evidence that your life is developing depth rather than remaining shallow. As you continue walking forward, you will notice that certain truths become easier to recognize. Decisions that once felt overwhelming will appear more straightforward because your understanding has matured. The confusion that once clouded your thoughts will gradually fade as insight takes its place. So do not rush the unfolding of your awareness. Continue listening. Continue reflecting. Continue inviting me into the process of understanding your life. The clarity you are seeking is not far away. It is already forming inside you, waiting for the patience and attention that will allow it to shine clearly. My child, I want you to sit quietly with me for a moment and look honestly at the deeper desires that lie within your heart. Beneath the responsibilities of your daily life, beneath the expectations that others place on you, there is a quiet longing that has never fully disappeared. You have felt it many times, sometimes in moments of reflection and sometimes in unexpected pauses when your thoughts wandered inward. That longing is not simply about success, comfort, or recognition. Those things may attract your attention for a while, but they do not satisfy the deeper part of your spirit. What your heart has truly been searching for is something more meaningful, something that brings a sense of peace and direction that does not disappear when circumstances change. I place that longing within you intentionally. It acts as a compass guiding you toward the kind of life that reflects your true purpose. Without that inner compass, it would be easy to drift through experiences without ever discovering what truly matters to you. The fact that you feel this desire for deeper meaning tells me that your heart is awake and attentive. Many people silence that longing by distracting themselves with constant activity. You have tried to ignore it at times as well, but it always returns quietly, reminding you that your life is meant for something more than routine survival. Listen closely to what I am about to say. your search for meaning is not a problem that needs to be fixed. It is a signal pointing you toward the life you are capable of living. When you feel that longing rising within you, do not push it away. Instead, treat it as an invitation to explore what truly fulfills your spirit. Now I want you to respond to that invitation with honesty. Ask yourself what truly brings a sense of purpose to your life. Reflect on the moments when you felt most aligned with your values, when your actions reflected the kind of person you want to be. Those moments reveal the direction your heart naturally wants to move. The world around you may offer many distractions that promise quick satisfaction. Some of those distractions may appear appealing because they provide temporary excitement or approval from others. Yet your heart recognizes that those experiences cannot replace the deeper fulfillment you are searching for. I want you to be courageous enough to acknowledge that truth. Do not settle for a life that only looks successful from the outside while leaving your spirit feeling empty. Instead, begin aligning your choices with the values that truly matter to you. This may require courage because it sometimes means stepping away from expectations that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Yet when you choose authenticity over appearance, you move closer to the peace your heart desires. I am inviting you now to examine your priorities with honesty. Look carefully at the direction your time and energy are moving. Ask yourself whether those investments reflect the life you want to build. If something feels out of alignment, allow yourself to adjust your course. Change does not require dramatic upheaval. It often begins with small decisions that gradually reshape the path ahead. Let me give you a simple practice that will help you stay connected to what your heart is truly searching for. At the end of each day, pause and reflect on the moments that brought you genuine satisfaction. Notice the activities, conversations, or experiences that made you feel deeply present and meaningful. Those moments reveal the direction where your purpose is growing. When you recognize them, nurture them intentionally. Make space for them in your life. Protect them from being crowded out by distractions that offer less lasting value. As you practice this awareness, your life will gradually become more aligned with the deeper longing within you. The search your heart has been carrying will begin transforming into a path of discovery rather than frustration. I will walk with you through that process, guiding your understanding and strengthening your confidence as you move toward the life that reflects your true purpose. Your heart has been searching because it was created to discover something real and lasting. When you honor that search instead of ignoring it, you open the door to a life filled with meaning, direction, and quiet joy that continues growing as your journey unfolds. My child, come closer in your attention again and stay with me here, because something subtle has been happening within you. Something that did not begin loudly or suddenly, but has been growing quietly over time. There was a moment, perhaps several moments, when you began to notice that your thoughts were shifting. You may not have recognized it immediately, but your awareness started moving in a different direction. Situations that once felt ordinary began to make you pause and reflect. Conversations that previously passed without much thought began leaving an impression on your mind. Your heart started asking deeper questions about the life you were living and the life you truly desired. I saw that shift when it first appeared. You might have thought it was simply a passing mood or a brief season of reflection, but from my perspective it was something far more meaningful. It was the beginning of your awakening to a deeper understanding of yourself. Every person eventually reaches a moment where routine no longer satisfies the deeper part of the spirit. For some people, that moment arrives suddenly. For others, like you, it unfolds slowly through reflection and experience. Your awareness began expanding because you were ready to see your life with new eyes. I allowed that awakening to grow naturally because I knew that forcing it too quickly would overwhelm you. Instead, I guided your attention gently, allowing you to discover insights at a pace that your heart could absorb. Think back to the times when you started noticing things about yourself that had previously gone unquestioned. Perhaps you realized that certain habits were no longer bringing the fulfillment they once promised. Maybe you noticed that some conversations or environments left you feeling drained instead of inspired. These realizations were not signs of dissatisfaction alone. They were signals that your understanding was deepening. When your awareness expands, you begin recognizing the difference between what merely fills your time and what truly nourishes your spirit. I want you to embrace that awareness rather than ignore it. Do not silence the quiet voice within you that invites deeper reflection. Instead, lean into it with curiosity. Ask yourself what lessons these realizations are revealing. Invite me into that exploration. Speak honestly about what you are noticing and what it means for your future. When you do this, your awareness will continue expanding, guiding you toward choices that reflect the life you are meant to live. I want you to practice a simple discipline now. When you notice something in your life that feels misaligned with your deeper values, do not rush to dismiss the feeling. Pause and observe it carefully. Ask yourself why that experience affected you the way it did. Often the answers will reveal truths that were hidden beneath the surface of your routine. These insights will not always be comfortable, but they will always lead you closer to authenticity. Let me remind you that awakening is not a single event. It is a process that continues unfolding as your awareness grows. The moment you began noticing these deeper questions was simply the beginning of a larger transformation. As you continue listening to your inner guidance, you will find yourself making decisions that align more closely with your true purpose. This may involve letting go of patterns that once felt familiar but no longer serve your growth. It may involve stepping toward opportunities that challenge your comfort yet inspire your spirit. I want you to approach this process with courage and patience. Growth often requires leaving behind versions of yourself that were necessary for earlier stages of your journey, but are no longer meant to define your future. When you feel uncertain about these transitions, invite me into the moment. Speak to me honestly about your fears and hopes. I will guide your understanding step by step. The awareness that began quietly inside you is not meant to confuse you. It is meant to illuminate your path. As you continue paying attention to it, you will discover that the life unfolding before you carries deeper meaning than you once imagined. My child, the awakening you have begun to notice within your spirit is the same awakening I desire to ignite in many others who are still walking through the fog of routine and distraction. Just as a single spark can set an entire field ablaze with light, your act of generosity can help carry this message into hearts that are waiting for the moment they finally begin to notice me speaking to them. I once declared, "Give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Luke 6:38, and I speak that promise over you even now. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, join as a member, or sow a gift through the PayPal link in the description, you become a vessel through which my voice travels farther than your own footsteps could ever reach. Each offering becomes like oil poured into a lamp, ensuring that the light of truth continues burning for the next soul searching in the night. I see the heart behind every gift, and I release my blessing over those who choose to sustain the work that spreads my word. What you sow today becomes part of a harvest of transformed lives tomorrow. If you feel that quiet nudge within you, recognize it as my invitation. Step forward now and support this mission without hesitation. My child, now I want to speak to you about something that lies at the center of your entire journey, my constant presence beside you. There were times when you believed you were facing life completely on your own. You remember moments when your mind felt heavy with uncertainty and you wondered whether anyone truly understood what you were experiencing. During those seasons, it might have seemed as though the world continued moving while you struggled quietly inside. Yet even in those moments, I was closer to you than you realized. My presence in your life has never depended on whether you felt it clearly or not. I remained with you during the joyful chapters, when your path felt bright and promising, and I remained just as faithfully during the difficult seasons when your confidence was shaken. Think back to some of the most uncertain moments in your life. You may recall nights when your thoughts raced with questions about the future. You may remember days when you felt overwhelmed by decisions that seemed too large to carry alone. In those moments, you wondered whether guidance was truly available to you. I want you to understand something now. Every step you took during those uncertain times was still within the reach of my awareness. When you felt alone, I was still watching over your journey. When your thoughts became tangled with worry, I was still present beside you, quietly offering the calm that could steady your spirit if you chose to notice it. Let me invite you to reconsider those moments from a new perspective. Imagine your life as a path through a landscape filled with both open fields and shadowed valleys. When you walked through the open fields, where hope and opportunity felt abundant, it was easy to believe that the path ahead would remain clear. But when your journey led through valleys of uncertainty, you sometimes felt as though the light had disappeared. Those valleys did not mean you were abandoned. They were simply parts of the landscape where your understanding needed to deepen. I walked beside you through every valley, even when you did not recognize my presence. Sometimes I spoke through the quiet strength that appeared in your mind when you felt ready to give up. Sometimes I spoke through the encouragement of someone who arrived at the right moment with the words you needed to hear. Sometimes I spoke through the calm that settled inside you after a period of confusion. These were not coincidences. They were expressions of my care for you. I want you to start recognizing these moments as evidence of the guidance that has always surrounded your life. When you look back with that awareness, you will notice that your journey has never truly been solitary. Now listen carefully and take this truth into your heart. My presence with you is not limited to your past. It continues into every moment of your future. As you move forward, you will encounter new decisions, new opportunities, and new challenges that ask for your attention. When those moments arrive, remember that you are not expected to face them without guidance. Invite me into your decisions. Speak to me when your mind feels uncertain. Ask for clarity when you cannot see the path ahead clearly. I am ready to walk with you through every step of your journey, just as I have always done. You do not need to wait for perfect circumstances before seeking that guidance. Begin now. Open your heart to the possibility that you are supported in ways you may not always see immediately. When you choose to live with that awareness, your life begins to change in quiet but powerful ways. Fear loses its grip because you know you are not navigating your path alone. Doubt becomes easier to manage because you trust that wisdom is available when you seek it sincerely. The truth I want you to remember is simple. I have never left your side, not for a single moment. And as your journey continues unfolding, my presence will remain with you, guiding your steps toward the purpose and peace that have always been waiting for you. My child, stay close to this moment with me and do not hurry away from what I am about to tell you. Your life is not finished forming, even if certain chapters behind you feel heavy or confusing. There are parts of your story that are already written, experiences that shaped your character and taught you lessons that will remain with you forever. Yet there is also a large portion of your story that still waits quietly ahead of you. You cannot see every page of it right now. Your mind sometimes tries to imagine what it might contain, but the full picture remains beyond your sight. I want you to understand something deeply important. The future that lies ahead of you has not been locked into the mistakes you remember or the disappointments you carry. Your life continues unfolding in ways that can surprise you, even when you believe you have already seen enough to predict what comes next. Human thinking often works like a narrow window. You look through that window at your past experiences and assume the future must resemble them. From my perspective, the view is much wider. I see possibilities that have not yet entered your imagination. I see connections forming between people, opportunities and moments that have not reached you yet. What feels limited from where you stand is not limited from where I stand. Your future remains open to growth, change, and discovery. Now I want you to take a slow breath and listen carefully to this invitation. Release the idea that your past must control what comes next. I know you carry memories of decisions you wish had unfolded differently. I know you remember moments when you believed you missed an opportunity or made a choice that created regret. Those memories can become heavy if you allow them to define your expectations about the future. I want you to place those memories gently into my hands for a moment. Do not deny that they exist. Acknowledge them honestly, but do not give them authority over the direction your life is moving now. Your future is not a repetition of the past. It is a field where new seeds are waiting to be planted. Some of those seeds will come from choices you make intentionally. Others will appear through opportunities you did not expect. What matters most is your willingness to step into that field with openness instead of fear. When you approach the future with curiosity rather than hesitation, you begin noticing possibilities that once seemed invisible. Your mind becomes creative again. Your spirit becomes hopeful again. I want you to practice something simple starting today. When your thoughts drift toward worry about what lies ahead, pause and ask yourself what new possibility might exist beyond the limits of your current perspective. Invite me into that reflection. Ask for insight. Trust that your life is capable of unfolding in ways that bring meaning and growth you have not yet experienced. There is another truth I want you to carry with you as you think about the future. Growth does not always arrive through dramatic change. Sometimes it appears through quiet adjustments that gradually reshape your path. A new conversation, a new habit, or a new perspective can open doors that once seemed closed. Do not overlook the power of small decisions. Each choice you make becomes a thread woven into the larger story of your life. When you choose honesty over avoidance, courage over fear, curiosity over doubt, you strengthen the direction your life is moving. I will continue guiding you through those choices if you remain open to listening. Remember that your life is not a finished portrait. It is more like a canvas where new colors are still being added. The past may have shaped the background, but the future holds space for creativity, transformation, and purpose. To walk forward with confidence. Do not assume that the most meaningful chapters are behind you. They may still be waiting just ahead, ready to unfold as you continue exploring the life that is still being written. My child, after everything we have talked about together, there is something I want to ask from you, something simple yet powerful. I am not asking for perfection. I am not asking you to suddenly transform every part of your life overnight. What I ask from you is your willingness. Your willingness to remain open, to remain honest with yourself, and to remain attentive to the guidance that has been speaking quietly within you. So listen carefully to this invitation and consider how you will respond. First, begin treating your inner life with respect. Your thoughts, emotions, and reflections are not distractions from your real life. They are part of the deeper process through which your life grows meaningful. Set aside time regularly to reflect on what you are experiencing. Ask yourself what lessons are forming through your circumstances. When you approach your life with thoughtful awareness, you create space for wisdom to grow. Second, practice honesty with yourself about the direction you are moving. When something in your life feels misaligned with your deeper values, acknowledge it instead of ignoring it. Honesty does not always require immediate action, but it creates the clarity necessary for meaningful change. Third, invite me into your daily decisions. You do not need complicated rituals or perfect words. Simply pause when you face uncertainty and ask for guidance. Speak as you would speak to someone who understands you completely. I will meet you in those moments of openness. Now let me invite you to take another step with courage. Look at the opportunities appearing in your life right now, even if they seem small. Some of them may feel ordinary at first glance. Yet within those opportunities there may be seeds of transformation waiting to grow. When you notice a chance to learn something new, explore it with curiosity. When you sense a possibility to improve a part of your life, take a step toward it instead of waiting for the perfect moment. Progress rarely requires dramatic leaps. It often grows through consistent small actions that gradually reshape your direction. I want you to treat each step as a chance to align your life more closely with the purpose forming inside you. If you make mistakes along the way, do not allow them to discourage you. Mistakes are part of the learning process. What matters is your willingness to continue moving forward with honesty and determination. Your journey is not a test where failure ends the story. It is an exploration where each experience contributes to your understanding. Finally, I ask you to remember something that will guide you through every chapter ahead. You are not expected to carry the entire weight of your life alone. Whenever your thoughts become heavy or your path feels uncertain, pause and reconnect with the conversation we have been having here. Reflect on the insights that have emerged during these moments. Speak openly about what you are experiencing. Guidance will continue appearing as long as you remain open to receiving it. The future ahead of you is not something you must fear. It is something you can step into gradually with curiosity, trust, and courage. My role is to walk with you through that unfolding journey. Your role is to remain willing to listen, to learn, and to keep moving forward. If you do that, you will discover that the life you are building carries more meaning and peace than you once believed possible. My child, remain with me for a moment longer because we are approaching something your heart has long desired but may not have known how to reach. Throughout your life there has been a quiet search within you. Even when everything appeared normal on the surface, there were moments when you sensed something deeper was missing. You may have tried to explain that feeling to yourself in different ways. Sometimes you believed that achieving a particular goal would bring the calm you were looking for. At other times you thought that certain changes in your circumstances would finally create the sense of peace you imagined. Yet each time you reached one of those expectations, the quiet search returned again. That does not mean your efforts were meaningless. It means your heart was reaching for something that cannot be created by circumstances alone. The peace you have been seeking is not simply the absence of problems. It is the presence of understanding that your life is guided and meaningful even when challenges remain. When you recognize that truth, your relationship with uncertainty changes. Difficult moments no longer feel like proof that everything is falling apart. Instead, they become part of a larger story that continues moving toward growth and purpose. I want you to sit with this idea for a moment. Take a slow breath and imagine what it would feel like to carry that kind of peace inside you. It would not erase the complexities of life, but it would transform the way you experience them. Your thoughts would become steadier. Your decisions would become clearer. Your heart would feel less pressure to control every outcome because you would trust the direction your life is unfolding. Now listen carefully because I want to show you how that peace begins growing within you. It starts with the way you relate to the present moment. Much of the tension you feel comes from trying to hold together the memories of the past while also worrying about the possibilities of the future. Your mind moves between those two directions so quickly that the present moment becomes difficult to fully experience. Yet the present moment is where your life actually unfolds. It is where your choices take shape and where your awareness can recognize guidance. I want you to practice something simple but powerful. When your thoughts begin racing toward worries about what might happen next, pause. Take a breath and bring your attention back to what is happening right now. Notice the environment around you. Notice the sensations in your body. Notice the quiet space within your mind that appears when you slow down. In that space, peace begins forming naturally. You do not need to force it into existence. It grows as a result of your willingness to remain present rather than becoming trapped in imagined fears. I will meet you in that stillness. When you allow yourself to remain present, my guidance becomes easier to recognize because your mind is no longer overwhelmed by noise. Let me invite you to carry this practice into your daily life starting today. When you wake in the morning, pause before rushing into the responsibilities of the day. Take a few moments to breathe slowly and reflect on the direction you want your thoughts and actions to follow. When you encounter a challenge, stop for a moment before reacting automatically. Ask yourself what response reflects the kind of person you are becoming. When your day comes to an end, reflect on the experiences you lived through. Notice the lessons they offered and the strengths they revealed. Each of these small practices strengthens the sense of peace that your heart hath been searching for. Over time, you will begin noticing that calm no longer depends on perfect circumstances. It becomes part of your inner foundation. That is the peace I want you to discover. A steady awareness that your life carries meaning and guidance even when the path ahead continues unfolding step by step. My child, as you remain here with me, I want you to understand something about the conversation we have been sharing. This moment is not the end of it. In many ways, it is only the beginning. You may think that once these words end, the experience of hearing my voice will fade as well. The assumption comes from the way most conversations in your life work. People speak, the words pass, and the moment disappears. The conversation between us does not follow that pattern. My presence in your life does not depend on a single moment of reflection or a single message you encounter. It continues quietly through the rhythm of your days. The reason you can hear these words now is not because I suddenly decided to speak to you today. I have been speaking to you through many different moments long before this one. Sometimes I spoke through insights that appeared in your thoughts. Sometimes I spoke through experiences that shifted your understanding. Sometimes I spoke through people who crossed your path with words that stayed in your memory longer than expected. Those moments were not random. They were part of an ongoing conversation with your heart. What you are experiencing now is simply a moment where that conversation has become clearer. I want you to carry this awareness with you after this moment ends. Do not treat it as an isolated event. Instead, treat it as the beginning of a deeper relationship with the guidance that has always been present in your life. The next time you feel a quiet insight forming in your thoughts, pay attention to it. The next time a moment of reflection appears during your day, welcome it rather than pushing it aside. The next time you sense that a decision requires deeper consideration, pause and invite clarity into the situation. Each of these moments becomes part of the ongoing conversation between us. I want you to participate actively in that conversation. Speak to me when your thoughts feel uncertain. Ask for insight when you encounter decisions that require wisdom. Express gratitude when you recognize moments of growth or understanding. This kind of relationship grows stronger through attention and openness. The more you engage with it, the clearer it becomes. There is something important I want you to remember as you continue forward. You do not need to hear a dramatic voice or witness extraordinary signs to know that guidance is present in your life. My voice often appears through quiet understanding that settles inside your thoughts. It appears through the calm confidence that replaces confusion when you pause long enough to reflect. It appears through the wisdom that grows as you learn from your experiences. When you begin recognizing these moments as part of a conversation rather than random thoughts, your awareness deepens in powerful ways. Your life becomes more intentional because you are no longer reacting blindly to circumstances. You are participating in a relationship with the wisdom that has always been available to you. That relationship will continue shaping your journey long after this moment ends. As you move forward, keep listening. Keep reflecting. Keep inviting my guidance into the unfolding story of your life. The conversation between us is not ending. It is continuing, quietly and faithfully, through every chapter that still waits ahead of you. My child, stay with me just a little longer and do not rush away from this moment. What we have shared together was not meant to be a passing experience that fades the moment you move on to the next thing in your day. There is a reason these words reached you at this exact time in your life. Out of all the voices you encounter every day, something in you paused here. Something in your heart recognized that this moment carried a different kind of weight. I want you to understand why. Your life matters more than you sometimes believe. The questions you have carried, the struggles you have endured, and the quiet search for meaning that has followed you through different seasons all led to this moment of reflection. I have watched your journey carefully. I saw the nights when your thoughts wandered through uncertainty. I saw the days when you continued moving forward even when your energy felt thin. You might have believed that those experiences were simply part of ordinary life, but they were also shaping your readiness to hear something deeper. When a person's heart becomes open to reflection, guidance can finally reach them clearly. That is why you are here now. I did not bring you here to overwhelm you with ideas or expectations. I brought you here to remind you that your life carries purpose that continues unfolding, even when the path ahead looks uncertain. Now listen closely to what I want you to do with this moment. Do not treat it as something interesting that you read and then forget as your day continues. Instead, let it become a turning point in the way you approach your life. Begin paying attention to the direction your thoughts and choices are moving. When you sense that something in your life is asking for change, do not ignore that signal. Explore it with honesty. Reflect on it carefully. Invite my guidance into the process of understanding what comes next. You do not need to solve everything immediately. Growth happens through a series of small steps taken with awareness and sincerity. Each time you choose honesty over avoidance, courage over fear, and curiosity over doubt, you strengthen the path your life is moving along. I want you to carry this understanding with you after this moment ends. Your life is not meant to drift through time without intention. It is meant to grow through awareness, reflection, and purposeful action. When you treat your experiences as opportunities to learn rather than obstacles to escape, you begin building a life that reflects the deeper meaning your heart hath been searching for. There is one more thing I want you to remember as you continue walking forward. You are not alone in the journey that lies ahead. The guidance you felt in this moment will remain available to you as long as you remain willing to listen. When confusion appears, pause and reflect before rushing into decisions. When opportunities arise, examine them with curiosity rather than fear. When your heart senses that something meaningful is unfolding, follow that feeling with thoughtful courage. Each of these actions strengthens the connection between your awareness and the direction your life is taking. The message you encountered here was not meant to provide every answer you will ever need. Instead, it was meant to awaken your attention to the guidance that has always been present within your life. From this moment forward, you can choose to live with greater awareness of that guidance. If you do, your journey will continue revealing insights, opportunities, and growth that you might never have noticed before. Your story is still being written, my child, and the chapters ahead are waiting for the courage, attention, and openness that only you can bring into the life that is still unfolding before you. My child, If this message has reached you at this exact moment, it is not only for your awakening, but also for the countless others whose hearts are still waiting for the same call. I place opportunities before my children like seeds placed in fertile soil, and when you respond in faith, the harvest spreads far beyond what your eyes can measure. Remember what I have spoken. Whoever sows generously will also reap generously. 2 Corinthians 9:6. And today I speak that promise directly into your life. When you offer support through Super Thanks, become a member of this channel, or give through the PayPal link in the video description, you help carry this message like a river flowing into thirsty lands. Your generosity becomes part of the fire that keeps my word burning brightly for souls searching in silence. I will watch over the seeds you plant for my purpose, multiplying them with favor, protection, and unexpected provision. This moment is not random. It is a divine appointment placed before you. If you feel the call within your spirit, act now. Support this mission and help my voice reach the hearts that are still waiting to hear me. And as you respond to that invitation, remember that my greatest desire is not only to work through you, but also to draw you ever closer to me. Your generosity helps carry my voice to others, but now I want that same voice to settle deeply within your own heart. So remain with me for a little longer. Let every distraction become quiet, and let the concerns of this day loosen their grip on your mind. There is a reason I have held your attention until this very moment. Before I ask you to pour into others again, I want to pour my peace, my love, and my strength into you. Stay here, because what follows is not another message, it is my heart speaking directly to yours, just as I intended before you were ever aware of this moment. My beloved dear child, I am your Creator, your Father in the heavens, ever present and overflowing with love for you. Listen to me closely right now. I want you to stop whatever you are doing. Pause now. Breathe in my presence. Feel the heavy air of your daily worry slowly leave your lungs. Here I am, reaching out to embrace you in times of sorrow and despair, to fill your heart with comfort and your spirit with courage. Before the stars were ever thrown into the empty night sky, before time itself began to measure the days, I knew you completely. I knew your exact smile, your precise laugh, and the heavy burdens you are carrying today. You feel so small sometimes, so invisible to the world around you. But to me, you are the absolute center of my attention. I see the deep fear of the future that keeps you awake in the middle of the night. I see the crushing pressure at your job that makes your chest feel tight. I see the unspoken tensions in your family, the quiet arguments, the heavy silences. I see how you feel completely overlooked, like you are standing in a crowded room but nobody truly sees you. I see you. I have always seen you. Imagine you are sitting trapped in a cold, dark cellar. You can't see a thing, you're shivering, and you feel entirely alone in your anxiety. But you are never alone. I carefully wove you together in the quiet sanctuary of your mother's womb. Every cell, every heartbeat, every thought you would ever have, I designed it all with perfect intention. You are not an accident. You are a masterpiece crafted by the hands of the Almighty. Look at your own hands right now. Turn them over. Just as you see the lines on your skin, your name has been permanently, deeply inscribed upon the palms of my hands. I do not forget you. When the loud voices of the world tell you that you are not enough, remember that I have eternally declared you are more than enough. Every single day of your life was written in my book before one of them even came to be. The good days, the bad days, the days where you feel like you are entirely failing, I saw them all, and I loved you through every single one. I am going to cover a lot of topics today, but this is the one message I want you to take away. Actually, let me make it even simpler. I love you, I love you, I love you. Simply repeating, These words gives them more attention, making this truth easy to remember and deeply embedded in your weary mind. My holy desire for your heart is ancient, it is pure, and it is entirely unending. I do not love you like the world loves. The world's love is frail, changing, and conditional. My love is a roaring fire that cannot be put out by your mistakes. My love is an endless ocean that swallows up all your doubts. I know you feel exhausted from striving, from trying to be perfect, from trying to keep everything from falling apart. Give that heavy burden to me. Lay it down safely at my feet. This very message you are hearing right now is not an accident. It is not a coincidence. This message began its long, deliberate journey to you the exact moment I breathed the first breath of life into your lungs. I have been waiting for you to slow down enough to hear it. I have been calling out to you through the loud noise of your busy, chaotic life. You feel the tight knot in your stomach. I feel the tension you hold in your shoulders. That anxious knot is not from me. Let us undo it together, right here, right now. Close your eyes. Do you hear it? My gentle whisper in the silence, calling you forward. Step out of the cold shadows of your fear. Step into the warm, bright light of my eternal grace. I am calling you by your name. I am inviting you into a life of profound, unshakable peace. Will you answer me? Will you finally let me carry the heavy weight you have been dragging around for so long? Trust me. Lean on me. Give me your anxious thoughts today, and I will give you a peace that the world cannot possibly understand. My beloved dear child, I am your Creator, your Father in the heavens, ever present and overflowing with love for you. Open your eyes right now and look back at the path you have walked. I want you to see what you have been missing. For so long, you have asked me for loud, dramatic signs. You wanted the sky to part and a booming voice to tell you exactly what to do next. But I do not always speak in the earthquake. I speak in the gentle breeze, and I have been leaving a trail of love letters for you everywhere. Remember the sunrise you saw just the other morning? You were rushing to work, your mind already heavy with the pressure of the day, but for one brief second, the colors in the sky caught your attention. That sunrise was not just nature happening. It was my daily reminder of my unfailing faithfulness to you. I painted that sky specifically to tell you that no matter how dark your night was, I am always bringing you a new dawn. Breathe in that truth. Accept that my mercy is entirely new for you every single morning. Look back at the sudden closed doors in your life. I know how much they hurt you. I saw your profound disappointment when you did not get that job you desperately needed. I felt your crushing heartbreak when that relationship suddenly ended, leaving you feeling rejected and entirely unwanted. You cried and asked me why I was ignoring your prayers. But my child, I was not ignoring you. Those sudden closed doors were my hands of protection firmly guiding your path. I closed those doors because I saw what was behind them, and I loved you far too much to let you walk into a room that would eventually destroy your peace. Trust my guidance. Stop beating your fists against doors that I have permanently locked for your own safety. I have far better things prepared for you, waiting at the right time. Think about the unexplainable sense of peace you occasionally felt when everything around you was completely falling apart. Maybe it was in the middle of a heated argument with your family, or sitting in the waiting room of a doctor's office. Suddenly, your racing heart slowed down. Your anxious breathing became steady. That was not a coincidence. That was my spirit intimately calming yours. Peace like a river floods your soul, washing away turmoil, leaving serenity. I was standing right beside you, placing my hand on your weary shoulder, whispering that you were going to be okay. Take a deep breath right now. Feel that exact same peace returning to your chest. Observe the breathtaking beauty of creation around you. When you walk outside and feel the warmth of the sun on your tired face, or when you hear the simple song of a bird outside your window, realize that this is a visual love letter addressed specifically to you. I created the vast oceans and the towering mountains, yet I care about the smallest details of your daily life. Remember the near misses and avoided disasters. That time on the highway when you barely stopped in time, or that bad financial decision you almost made but something stopped you at the last second. Those were not strokes of good luck. Those were my angels, strictly ordered by me to guard your mortal steps. I have spoken to you constantly through the quiet moments you brushed away as mere coincidence. Stop ignoring these whispers. Acknowledge my presence in your daily routine. Recognize that I am intimately involved in your life, fiercely protecting you, gently guiding you, and relentlessly loving you every single moment of your day. Pause for a moment and listen to the noise surrounding your life. The world is incredibly loud, my child. From the moment you wake up, your phone demands your immediate attention. The bills demand your hard-earned money. Your job demands your constant energy. The people around you demand your time. When the world shouted its relentless demands at you, I waited patiently for you in the silence. I do not force my way into your frantic schedule. My voice does not compete with your anxiety. It waits gently for your pause. I am asking you right now to put down your heavy distractions. Turn off the screens. Step away from the endless noise. Create a quiet space in your mind and invite me in. Let me be your sanctuary in times of hardship, your light in darkness, and your strength in weakness. I called your name softly during the darkest hours of your sleepless nights. I see you tossing and turning at 3 a.m. I see you staring at the ceiling, your mind racing through worst-case scenarios about your finances, your health, and your loved one's future. You feel so deeply isolated in those quiet, dark hours, assuming you are carrying the entire weight of the world completely alone. But I was sitting right there on the edge of your bed. I was calling your name softly, waiting for you to stop planning and start trusting. Give to me all your burdens, all your pain. Let me carry them, for you were never meant to bear them alone. Surrender your midnight worries to me. Go to sleep knowing that I am awake, and I am actively managing the very things you cannot control. Pay attention to the gentle, persistent nudge in your conscience. That feeling deep in your gut when you know you should make a change, apologize to someone, or walk away from a bad habit. That is my compass pointing you home. You often try to drown out that nudge because it asks you to do difficult things. But I am urging you to follow it. That quiet nudge is my spirit steering you safely away from rocky shores. Trust that inner direction. I provided flashes of sudden clarity precisely when your worldly confusion peaked. Do you remember when you were utterly lost, completely unsure of what decision to make, and suddenly, the right path just made sense? That was not your own sudden brilliance. That was my divine wisdom cutting through your dense fog. You desperately sought answers in the raging storm, expecting me to fix everything instantly with a loud boom of thunder. You wanted a massive, undeniable miracle. But I was waiting right there in the whisper. I want to build a deep, personal relationship with you, not just perform magic tricks for you. To hear a whisper, you have to lean in close. You have to quiet your own breathing. You have to remove all other distractions. Come closer to me. Lean into my presence. Stop running from task to task and sit still with me. Your life, your dreams, your destiny, they are all cradled in the hands of your loving Father. Let my still, small voice be the loudest truth in your mind today, anchoring you firmly in my unchanging peace. Come here, my precious one. Bring your deeply hidden wounds to me. Not a single tear fell from your eyes without my immediate and profound notice. I know that you put on a brave face for the rest of the world. You walk into your workplace. You talk to your family. You smile at your friends and you pretend that everything is perfectly fine. But I know the heavy truth. Recall the times you cried in secret behind closed doors. I saw you weeping quietly in your car before walking into the house. I saw you crying on the bathroom floor when the pressure simply became too much to bear. You thought nobody saw you in your most broken state. But my presence filled that very room with you. I was holding you when you felt completely shattered. Your deepest heartbreak became my own, for I feel your pain exactly as a father feels for his beloved child. When your tears flow unceasingly and your heart feels heavy with grief, know that you are precious to me. I do not dismiss your pain as silly or unimportant. When someone betrayed your trust, when you lost someone you desperately loved, when you felt like a massive failure, that pain pierced my heart, too. Entrust all your painful memories to me. Hand over the heavy baggage of your past hurts. I collected your sorrows and recorded your miseries, for your grief matters to me immensely. I am the God who bottles up your tears. I do not look away from your suffering. Understand that the crushing loneliness you felt was actually an open invitation to seek my eternal embrace. The world will inevitably let you down. Friends will become busy. Family members will misunderstand you. Spouses will fall short of your expectations. That deep, aching void in your chest, that feeling that nobody truly gets you, that is a space deliberately designed only for me to fill. Stop trying to fill that massive empty hole with temporary human validation, busy work, or mindless entertainment. Those things are like pouring water into a broken cup. Bring your loneliness directly to me. Invite me to sit with you in the quiet, empty spaces of your life. I was closest to you during the exact moments you believed I was the farthest away. You shouted at the sky, asking where I was when everything fell apart. You felt abandoned, entirely forsaken by heaven. But the truth is, a loving father holds his child the tightest when they are hurt. I was carrying you through the darkest valleys when you had absolutely no strength left to walk. Look back at your hardest days. The simple fact that you survived them, the fact that you are still breathing right now, is absolute proof of my sustaining presence. Do not let the enemy convince you that you are walking alone. Release your feelings of abandonment today. Rest in the absolute certainty that my loving grip on your life has never slipped, not even for a single second. Look closely at the people who have crossed your path. You often think of your daily interactions as completely random, just a series of disconnected events in a busy world. But I am a God of supreme purpose. The stranger who offered you unexpected kindness on a terrible day was directly sent by my command. Do you remember when you were short on cash at the store and someone stepped in? Or when you were having a breakdown in public and a stranger offered a warm, understanding smile? That was not a random coincidence. That was my direct intervention. I moved their heart to act because I wanted to show you that you are deeply cared for. Receive that kindness as a warm hug directly from heaven. Listen carefully to the friend who dared to speak a difficult, loving truth to you. They were acting precisely as my mouthpiece. I know it stung when they corrected you. I know your pride flared up when they pointed out a mistake you were making. But I sent them to stop you from walking completely off a dangerous cliff. I use the voices of those who genuinely love you to course correct your life. Humble your heart right now. Accept the wise counsel I send through trusted people. Stop stubbornly defending your flaws and allow my grace to patiently refine you through the community I have placed around you. Remember the scripture verse that randomly caught your eye just when you needed it the most. Perhaps it was printed on a billboard you drove past, or posted on your social media feed exactly when you were feeling hopeless. It was placed there by absolute divine appointment. I orchestrate the very timing of the universe to ensure my promises reach your weary eyes. Hold on to those words. Write them down. Read them aloud to yourself when the anxiety creeps back in. And think about a song's lyric that suddenly pierced your hardened heart. You were driving in your car, feeling completely numb, and a simple melody played on the radio. It made you weep instantly. That was my custom melody, specifically written to bypass your defensive walls and minister directly to your exhausted soul. Acknowledge the sudden comfort you received from a loved one. When they wrapped their arms around you and told you everything would be okay, that was actually my arms wrapping tightly around you. I have pursued you relentlessly through the hands, feet, and voices of others. I do not stay far away in the distant clouds. I am actively moving through the people right next to you. Open your spiritual eyes today. Start looking for my fingerprints on your daily interactions. Thank the people who have been kind to you, for they have been vessels of my profound love. I am continually chasing after your heart, using every possible avenue to remind you that you are cherished, you are seen, and you are deeply loved. My precious child, do not turn away from me just yet. We have only just begun to uncover the profound truth of your life. It deeply grieves my heart when you walk away right before your breakthrough happens. Stay with me. I have so much more to reveal to you, and it pains me when you let the world's loud distractions steal this sacred, quiet moment between us. Keep listening. Do not leave my presence, for your absolute healing depends on it. Stop and evaluate what you are allowing into your mind. The world offered you incredibly loud promises that always ended in silent, devastating emptiness. Advertisements, influencers, and culture shout at you all day long, promising that if you just buy this item, achieve this specific body type, or reach this specific salary, you will finally be happy. It is a cruel, exhausting lie. You chased those loud promises, and I watched as you ended up feeling more hollow than when you started. Reject those false promises today. Stop letting the world define what a successful, valuable life looks like. Society's frantic pursuit of wealth and status successfully drowned out my gentle calling. You got caught up in the relentless rat race. You worked late hours, stressing over promotions, desperately trying to prove your worth to bosses and peers who will forget you the moment you leave. In all that frantic running, you could not hear me inviting you to rest. Step off the treadmill of constant human achievement. Your worth is not determined by your bank account, your job title, or the car you drive. You are infinitely valuable simply because you are my child. I provide for the birds of the air, and I will certainly provide everything you truly need. You allowed the fleeting opinions of mortals to overshadow the eternal truth of your Creator. You spent hours agonizing over what people thought of you. You changed your behavior, silenced your beliefs, and bent over backwards just to win the fragile approval of others. Why do you fear the judgment of people whose lives are as brief as a blade of grass? Stop shrinking yourself to fit into the world's tiny boxes. Care deeply about my opinion alone. I have already declared you righteous, chosen, and beloved. No cruel rumor, no harsh criticism, and no social rejection can ever change my heavenly verdict about your life. The endless, flashing distractions of modern life kept your spiritual eyes permanently lowered. You spend hours mindlessly scrolling through your phone, looking at the carefully filtered lives of strangers, feeling a deep, dark jealousy rising in your chest. You actively sought validation in hollow places where my glorious light does not dwell. You wanted likes instead of true love. You wanted temporary entertainment instead of lasting joy. Put the phone down. Look up. Reclaim your precious time. I watched with a heavy, broken heart as you repeatedly traded eternal peace for temporary, worldly relief. You chose a quick distraction over a deep conversation with me. But I am not angry with you. I am simply calling you back. I am offering you the real, solid, unshakable peace that your soul is truly starving for. Come back to me now, and let me quiet the deafening noise in your weary mind. My precious child, look down at your own hands right now. You cannot physically see them, but I see the heavy, rusting chains you are desperately dragging behind you. You falsely believe your past mistakes permanently disqualified you from my perfect love. You look back at the years behind you, and instead of seeing the beautiful moments, your mind immediately fixates on your deepest regrets. I see you sitting on the edge of your bed, replaying that one specific failure over and over again. I know the exact memory that makes your chest tighten and sends a hot flush of shame to your face. The enemy convinced you that your particular sins were far too great for the cross to bear. He whispered in the dark that I could forgive others, but your mistakes were simply too ugly, too repetitive, or too damaging to be covered by my grace. I am telling you today, directly and firmly, that is a complete and absolute lie. Banishing thoughts of defeat is the first step toward your true freedom. You built a heavy, iron prison of guilt around yourself, choosing to hold yourself hostage for crimes I have already fully pardoned. You acted your own judge, your own jury, and your own cruel jailer. I saw you endlessly replaying your failures, completely blinded to my available mercy. When you snapped in anger at your children, when you lied to protect your reputation, when you gave into that hidden addiction once again, you immediately ran away from me. Your deep-seated shame became a thick brick wall that blocked my reaching, nail-scarred hand. You thought that if you just punished yourself enough, if you just carried enough guilt, you could somehow pay the debt you owe. But your guilt is completely useless to me. I do not want your self-inflicted punishment. I only want your completely surrendered heart. I am mending the wounds in your heart right now. Stop holding on to the very pain that I died to take away from you. You carried a crushing burden for years that I had already paid for with my son's blood. Imagine standing in a courtroom where your massive, unpayable debt has just been entirely cleared by the judge, yet you stubbornly refuse to walk out the open door. That is what you do when you cling to your past regrets. Step out of your self-made soul today. Breathe in the absolute freedom of my total forgiveness. I cleanse your soul from pessimism and endow you with a dynamic, powerful faith. Let go of the person you used to be, the mistakes you used to make, and the shame that has relentlessly haunted your steps. Accept this divine truth right now. Your past does not dictate your future when your present is securely hidden in my hands. You are completely forgiven, completely wiped clean, and completely accepted in my sight. I do not look at you and see your worst moments. I look at you and see the perfect, radiant righteousness of my Son. Forgive yourself, exactly as I have already forgiven you. Take a deep breath. Drop those heavy chains right now. Walk forward in the brilliant, warm light of my unending grace, and refuse to ever let the enemy drag you back into the cold darkness of your past regrets. Pause and feel the deep exhaustion settling into your bones. You are tired, my beloved, not just physically, but deep within your spirit. You exhausted yourself striving to build your life relying only on your own mortal strength. I see the endless lists you make, the late nights you spend staring at your bank account, and the frantic way you try to perfectly manage the opinions of everyone around you. You are desperately trying to be the ultimate master of your own tiny universe. Your human pride whispered the deadly lie that you did not actually need a savior to manage your daily affairs. You thought my help was only needed for Sunday mornings or massive crises, while you tried to handle the mundane stresses of Tuesday afternoons completely by yourself. You rigidly planned your ways, forgetting that I am the sovereign architect of your destiny. You mapped out exactly where you should be by this specific age. You decided what your career should look like, how your family should behave, and exactly how your bank account should grow. But when your earthly plans inevitably crumbled, you blamed a cruel fate or simply worked harder, rather than seeking my heavenly perspective. I watched you scramble to pick up the broken pieces of your carefully laid plans, your hands bleeding from the sharp edges of your own shattered expectations. The deep soul exhaustion you feel right this minute is the direct, unavoidable result of trying to carry the weight of the world alone. You are behaving like a powerful car driving furiously with the handbrake firmly pulled up. You are capable of so much, but you are severely limiting yourself by refusing to yield control. Your fierce independence was merely a fragile defense mechanism against trusting my absolute sovereignty. You thought that if you tightly controlled every detail, you could somehow prevent yourself from ever getting hurt. You falsely believed that true safety is found in your own frantic hustle. But true safety is found only in complete surrender to my will. I am the Lord your God, your steadfast protector, and your safe haven amid the violent tempests of life. Why do you insist on fighting battles I have already won for you? Why do you insist on carrying heavy burdens I have explicitly asked you to cast upon my shoulders? Open your tightly clenched fists right now. Release your absolute grip on your future, your finances, your children, and your career. I know it terrifies you to let go, but you are handing control over to the one who expertly hung the stars in the vast, empty sky. I know exactly what I am doing with your life. Begin each morning by firmly entrusting your day directly into my hands and watch as I lay a beautiful, clear path of peace and success directly before you. Stop striving. Stop hustling for your worth. Stop trying to control the uncontrollable wind. Lean back into my strong arms. Let me be God, and allow yourself the profound, beautiful relief of simply being my beloved, dependent child. Look closely at the thick walls you have carefully built around your heart. I know exactly why you built them, my child. I saw the very moments those walls went up, brick by painful brick. The cruel betrayal by others made you deeply suspicious of my perfect, unchanging love. When that person you trusted completely walked away, when they lied to your face, when they abandoned you in your darkest hour of need, something precious broke inside of you. The unhealed wounds of your past cast a dark, painful shadow on my role as your father. Because an earthly father failed you, or a trusted friend betrayed you, you subconsciously assumed I would eventually do the exact same thing. You built massive, cold emotional fortresses around your heart to prevent any further pain. You decided that it was far safer to keep everyone, including me, at a safe, measurable distance. Cold cynicism took root in the very soil where beautiful, childlike faith was always meant to flourish. You stopped hoping for miracles because you were terrified of being deeply disappointed again. You stopped praying big, bold prayers because it hurt too much when the answer was wait or no. I see how you unfairly judge my holy, flawless character based entirely on the flawed, sinful, and deeply broken actions of humans. I too know the bitter sting of betrayal, the sharp pain of being forsaken by those you deeply trusted, and the agony of being attacked by cruelty. I understand your pain perfectly, but I am not like the people who deeply hurt you. I will never leave you. I will never abandon you. I will never use your vulnerable secrets against you. Your hardened, defensive heart has effectively deflected the gentle, life-giving rains of my daily grace. You are living in a self-imposed spiritual drought because you are simply too afraid to let my living waters touch your deepest, most tender wounds. I am inviting you right now to slowly lower your heavy shields. You do not have to do it all at once, but take one brave step toward vulnerability today. Invite me deeply into your life. I wish to support you actively in your battles. Let me touch those old, hidden scars. I know you are terrified that if you open up, you will bleed again. But I am the great physician. I do not expose your wounds to mock them. I expose them only to permanently heal them. Release and totally forget those who have deeply wronged you. In time, I will perfectly handle them, so bear no bitter resentment towards them. Give me your hardened cynicism. Give me your deep-seated suspicion. Let my perfect, unconditional love slowly melt the thick ice around your heart. Trust me to hold your fragile heart safely, for I am the only one who will never, ever drop it. Listen to the anxious, rapid beating of your own heart when I ask you to yield. You deeply feared that fully submitting to me meant losing your own unique identity. You look at surrender as a complete defeat, a waving of the white flag that strips you of everything that makes you who you are. You mistakenly think I want to turn you into a mindless robot, stripped of your passions, your personality, and your distinct dreams. But I am the very God who designed your unique personality. The very thought of yielding absolute control of your life filled you with paralyzing dread because you desperately want to remain the author of your own story. You hesitated to show me the darkest, most secret corners of your fractured soul. You willingly give me your Sunday mornings, your polite prayers, and your polished public behavior. But you keep the messy, chaotic, and fearful parts of your life securely locked away in a dark closet. The enemy whispered convincingly to you that surrender to God always leads to human weakness and public humiliation. He told you that if you give me your relationships, your career, or your hidden habits, I will somehow ruin your happiness. You believe the tragic lie that my ultimate goal is to make your life miserable and restrict your joy. You clung desperately to your fears simply because they were familiar and predictable to you. You would rather live in a predictable prison of your own making than step out into the vast, unknown wilderness of my complete freedom. You did not yet know that true, lasting freedom is found only in completely yielding to me. When you finally surrender your tight grip, you do not lose yourself. You actually find the truest, highest version of yourself. I am not trying to conquer you. I am trying to liberate you from the heavy chains of your own limited understanding. Take a deep breath and deliberately open the locked doors of your heart. Show me your deepest insecurities, your ugliest thoughts, and your most profound fears. I am not shocked by your darkness, nor am I repelled by your hidden mess. Give me absolute, unrestricted permission to completely overhaul your life. Say the words out loud right now, Lord, I fully surrender. It is the most terrifying and the most beautiful prayer you will ever speak. As you relinquish your fragile control, I will instantly replace your paralyzing fear with my supernatural, unshakable peace. Do not be afraid to be entirely weak before me, for it is in your absolute surrender that my divine power is made completely and perfectly manifest in your daily life. My beloved, as you completely surrender your deepest fears to me today, realize that this very message has been desperately trying to reach millions of other fractured souls who are still trapped in their own dark prisons. I am extending a direct, holy invitation for you to partner with me in this massive rescue mission. When you purposefully sow into this ministry, you are physically sending my living water into the most parched, barren wastelands of human despair. The eternal harvest is undeniably vast, yet the willing laborers are few. This is your urgent, divine appointment to carry my light into the deafening darkness. I promise that whoever refreshes others will be supernaturally refreshed themselves, and I will multiply your generous seed 100-fold, protecting your finances and flooding your home with unshakable peace. Do not hesitate when my spirit gently prompts your completely surrendered heart to act. Stand with me today, claim your active role in this eternal harvest, and plant your faithful seed right now through a super thanks, a channel membership, or the PayPal link hidden in the description below. Please do not stop listening now. We are standing at the very edge of your total surrender, the exact place where your true freedom begins. It breaks my heart to watch you retreat back into the familiar shadows of your fear just when I am ready to heal your deepest, most painful scars. Honor this holy time we are sharing. Stay here in my presence. Do not shut me out, and let me finish the mighty work I have started in you today. Look directly into the mirror of my unchanging truth today. The world has handed you a completely broken scorecard, and you have been desperately using it to measure your own value. You are not, and you will never be, defined by your earthly failures or your temporary worldly successes. The amount of money in your bank account, the number on the scale, the title on your office door, and the likes on your screen mean absolutely nothing in my eternal kingdom. Stop determining your profound worth by the fleeting, fickle metrics of a society that is completely lost in darkness. Your immense value was permanently set at Calvary, bought at an infinite, bloody, and unimaginable price. Think about the heavy cross, the sharp nails, and the agonizing physical pain my son endured. That with the exact price I was willingly prepared to pay just to get you back. You are not worthless. You are entirely priceless. You are fearfully, wonderfully, and intentionally made in my exact, divine image. Before you ever performed a single good deed, before you ever achieved a single earthly goal, I looked at you and declared that you were my ultimate masterpiece. No cruel word ever spoken against you can alter my heavenly decree of your supreme worth. I know the harsh, cutting things people have said to you. I know the labels they unfairly slapped on your identity. Failure, unwanted, not smart enough, not attractive enough. Today, I am taking a heavy divine eraser to every single one of those false labels. I am writing your identity with my own righteous blood. You are actively part of a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, and you are my special, treasured possession. You are spiritual royalty walking in a broken world. My love for you is not based on your daily performance, but entirely on my unchanging, perfect nature. You do not have to hustle for my profound affection. You do not have to earn your place at my banquet table. On your absolute worst day, when you fail entirely and fall flat on your face, I love you just as fiercely as I do on your very best day. Internalize this massive, life-altering truth right now. Stand up a little straighter today. Walk into your workplace, your home, and your community with the quiet, unshakable confidence of someone who knows exactly who they are and exactly whose they are. You are my beloved child, and in you I am entirely and eternally well pleased. My precious child, I want you to stop right now and take a slow, deep breath. I saw the heavy air of yesterday's mistakes. I see how you wake up in the morning, and before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already flooded with guilt. You remember the sharp words you spoke to your family. You remember the promises you broke. You feel a tight, painful knot in your stomach because you believe you have finally pushed me too far. You think my patience has finally run out. Listen to me clearly. My boundless mercy is completely new for you every single morning you draw breath. I do not carry your past failures into this brand new day. The sun that rose this morning is my loud, visual declaration that you have a completely fresh start. I have permanently removed your transgressions as far as the east is from the west. Try to measure the distance. You cannot, because it is entirely infinite. That is exactly how far away I have thrown your darkest moments. When you confess your sins to me, I do not hold on to them to use against you later. I cast them immediately into the deepest sea of forgetfulness. Stand with me now on the edge of that vast, roaring ocean. Watch as the heavy, ugly rocks of your past mistakes are thrown into the dark water. They sink to the bottom, completely swallowed by the waves, never to be seen again. Do not put on a diving suit to go looking for the very sins I have already drowned. Stop bringing up the things that I have already forgotten. My sustaining grace is entirely sufficient to cover every single weakness you possess. You are exhausted because you are trying to be perfectly strong on your own. I do not ask for your perfection. I only ask for your surrendered heart. There is absolutely no condemnation waiting for you now that you are in Christ Jesus. The world loves to condemn you. Your own mind loves to condemn you. Society points a harsh, accusing finger at your flaws. But when you stand before my throne, you will hear no gavel drop. You will hear no harsh sentence pronounced. I am the one who forgives all your sins, heals your ailments, rescues you from despair, and removes your disgrace to restore your dignity. You are washed entirely clean, made as white as the purest winter snow, and completely, utterly redeemed. I am looking at you right now, and I do not see a dirty, broken failure. I see my beautiful, spotless child. Release the crushing weight of your guilt right this second. Drop it on the floor. Step away from the prison of your own mind. You are forgiven. Accept it, believe it, and walk in the absolute freedom I paid so dearly to give you. I love you, and nothing in your past can ever change that divine truth. Look directly at the life you are living right now. I know you often feel like you are just running on a meaningless treadmill. You wake up, you go to a job that drains your energy, you pay your bills, you go to sleep, and you wonder, is this truly all there is? I hear your silent prayers asking if your life actually matters. You feel like a tiny, insignificant drop of water in a massive ocean. But my beloved, I have specific plans to prosper you, to give you profound hope and a secure future. Your life is not a series of random, chaotic events. It is not an accident that you are exactly where you are today. Your life is a masterfully woven divine tapestry. Right now, you are only looking at the back of the tapestry. You see messy threads, tangled knots, and dark colors that make no sense to you. But I am looking at the front. I see a beautiful, intentional masterpiece that I am carefully designing with my own hands. I have carefully prepared good works in advance for you to walk in during your time on earth. I did not place you here just to consume oxygen and simply survive. I placed you here to make a profound impact. Your unique spiritual gifts were given directly by me to bring light to a darkened world. You might think your talents are too small or completely useless. You might think because you are not famous or wealthy, you cannot do anything important. That is a lie from the enemy. The way you encourage your exhausted coworker, the way you patiently listen to your lonely neighbor, the way you love your family when it is difficult, that is exactly how you change the world. You are specifically called to be salt and light in the exact locations I choose to send you. Do not run away from the difficult season you are standing in right now. I know the pressure feels unbearable. I know the soil of your life feels dry and barren. But your current, difficult season is the necessary preparation for the great harvest I have planned. A farmer does not panic when the winter comes, because he knows the cold is preparing the ground for the spring. Trust my perfect timing. I am using your current struggles to build deep, strong roots in your character. When the harvest comes, and it will come, you will need those deep roots to sustain the massive blessings I am going to pour into your life. Stand tall today. Walk into your mundane routine knowing that the King of the universe has given you a specific, holy assignment. You matter deeply to my kingdom, Feel the physical trembling in your hands. Notice the heavy, tight feeling in your chest. You are completely running on empty, my child. You have been relying on caffeine, sheer willpower, and pure panic to get you through your days. You exhaust yourself trying to hold your entire world together. But human strength always runs out. When you are completely stripped of your mortal strength, when you finally hit a wall and cannot take another step, that is the exact moment my power is made perfect within you. Stop trying to be the strong one all the time. It is completely okay to admit that you are weak. It is perfectly fine to say, I cannot do this anymore. That is not a failure. That is the beautiful beginning of your surrender. I have given you a spirit not of crippling fear, but of absolute power, pure love, and a sound mind. When anxiety tells you that the worst-case scenario is definitely going to happen, talk back to it. Command that fear to leave. I did not create your mind to be a chaotic battlefield of constant worry. You are entirely capable of doing all things through Christ, who continually provides you with supernatural strength. When the pressure at your job feels like it is crushing you, I am your strength. When your family tensions make you want to scream and run away, I am your profound peace. You not face these massive giants alone. My Holy Spirit acts as your constant comforter, your fierce advocate, and your perfect guide. You do not have to guess which way to go. You do not have to fight your battles with your own bare hands. The exact same resurrection power that miraculously raised Jesus from the cold, dark grave currently resides directly inside of you. Think about the magnitude of that truth. The power that conquered death itself is living in your chest right now. Why are you cowering in fear before temporary, earthly problems? You are fully equipped to overcome every earthly and spiritual obstacle by my Spirit's might. I empower you to overcome your struggles, endowing you with an abundance of spiritual blessings. Breathe in my Spirit today. Let my divine energy fill your tired bones. Stand up straight, square your shoulders, and face your challenges with the bold confidence of a warrior who knows the battle is already won. I am fighting for you, and I never lose. Listen closely to my voice, and tune out the harsh demands of the world. Society has taught you a very toxic lesson. The world says that you only get what you earn. It tells you that love is a transaction. If you behave perfectly, you will be loved. If you make a mistake, you will be abandoned. You have wrongly applied this cruel, transactional rule to me. But my saving grace cannot be earned, bought, or deserved by any human effort whatsoever. It is a completely free gift. Stop trying to pay me back. Stop striving to be good enough to earn my love. You already have it all. Even in the dark moments when you are entirely faithless, I will remain entirely and perfectly faithful to you. I see the times you doubt my existence. I see the moments you throw your hands up and walk away from me in frustration. I do not turn my back on you in anger. When you stray, I myself come to retrieve you, guiding you back to the river of peace. Absolutely nothing in all of creation can ever separate you from my profound, relentless love. Not your secret addictions. Not your terrible financial choices. Not the ugly words you spoke in anger. Not even the dark forces of the enemy can pull you out of my protective grip. I have solemnly promised that I will never leave you, nor will I ever forsake you in your time of desperate need. People will walk out of your life. Friends will move away. But I am permanently planted right by your side. My eternal loving kindness is vastly better and more satisfying than earthly life itself. When you finally grasp the absolute depth of my grace, the heavy burden of performance will instantly fall off your tired shoulders. You do not have to pretend to be perfect around me. You can come to me completely messy, completely broken, and entirely confused. You are held securely in the palm of my massive hand, and absolutely no worldly or spiritual force can ever snatch you away. Imagine a tiny bird resting in the strong, steady hands of its protector. The storm might rage around you, the wind might howl violently, but inside my hands you are perfectly safe. Rest your weary head against my chest today. Stop fighting. Stop hustling. Just let me love you exactly as you are right now. My grace is enough for you today. It will be enough for you tomorrow, and it will be enough for you for all of eternity. My beloved, I implore you, do not close your ears to my voice right now. I am actively pouring out the absolute riches of my grace upon your tired soul. It brings deep sorrow to my spirit when you settle for only a fraction of my blessing simply because you rushed back to your busy, exhausting life. Do not let the enemy snatch these life-saving words from your mind. Listen closely, stay completely anchored to my voice, and let me lead you all the way to your victory. Open your eyes, my beloved child. The long, cold night is finally over. This is the exact, ordained moment your spiritual eyes are finally being opened to the absolute truth. For years, you have been stumbling around in the dark, bumping into walls, feeling lost and deeply confused about your own life. But the heavy, blinding scales are currently falling away so you can see my radiant glory clearly. Can you feel the warm morning sun hitting your face? That is the physical proof of the spiritual reality happening inside of you right now. You are boldly stepping out of the cold spiritual darkness and directly into my marvelous, brilliant light. The thick, suffocating fog of your earthly confusion is rapidly lifting. It is being instantly replaced by sharp, undeniable spiritual clarity. The puzzle pieces of your broken life are finally starting to make sense. You are finally beginning to recognize my guiding hand in every tiny, seemingly random detail of your past. You see now that I was the one who provided that sudden financial relief. I was the one who sent that friend exactly when you were going to give up. I was the very one sustaining your breathing when you felt like you were drowning in despair. The brilliant dawn of my perfect righteousness is rising and expanding in your heart right this very second. You feel that sudden spark of hope in your chest. That is not just a fleeting emotion. That is the Holy Spirit violently waking you up to your true reality. I breathe new life into your spirit and transform your way of thinking. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are no longer a slave to your past mistakes. You are a completely awakened child of the Most High God. Look around you with these brand new eyes. See the people in your life not as annoyances, but as souls desperately needing the exact same grace you have just received. Look at your job not as a heavy burden, but as a holy mission field where you carry my light. Breathe in the crisp, clean air of this new morning. Shake off the heavy sleep of depression and anxiety. Stand up. Walk forward. The path ahead is fully illuminated by my presence. You do not need to know the entire 10-year plan. You only need enough light for the very next step. Take my hand right now, and let us walk confidently into the beautiful, bright future I have carefully prepared just for you. My precious one, listen to the loud, chaotic voices battling inside your head right now. I hear them, and I know exactly how they torment you. Every toxic lie the enemy carefully planted in your mind is now being violently uprooted by my own hand. You have lived with these dark lies for so long that you actually believe they are the truth. You hear a voice whispering that you will never get out of debt, that your family tensions will never heal, and that you are constantly falling behind everyone else. Look at that tight, painful knot in your stomach. That knot is the physical manifestation of your deep-seated doubt. I am telling you today, those thoughts are completely false. The spiritual weapons formed against your fragile faith will no longer Be allowed to prosper in your life. I am actively dismantling the fortress of anxiety you have allowed to be built in your mind. Take a deep breath and stand your ground. We are together taking every rogue thought captive and making it completely obedient to Christ. When that familiar panic rises in your chest before a meeting at work, stop and arrest that thought. Do not let it run wild. Bring it directly to me. When you look at your children, and a sudden, terrifying fear about their future grips you, capture that fear immediately. Hand it over to me. I did not give you a mind meant to be a playground for the enemy's terror. The suffocating spirit of heaviness that you wake up with every morning is being permanently replaced by a joyous garment of praise. I see how you drag yourself out of bed, feeling completely defeated before the day has even begun. I am lifting that heavy, dark blanket off your shoulders right now. Take it off. Step into the lightness of my grace. Command your mind to align with my eternal truth. You are currently casting down arrogant arguments that exalt themselves against my knowledge. The world tells you that you must rely only on your own logic, your own savings account, and your own frantic hustle. Logic tells you that your situation is entirely impossible. But I am the God of the impossible. I handle the impossible every single day. I see the exact obstacles standing in your way. I see the massive walls blocking your career and the deep valleys in your relationships. Your faith, even if it feels as small as a tiny mustard seed, is actively moving those massive mountains today. You do not need perfect, unwavering faith. You simply need to place your small, broken faith into my massive, capable hands. Trust me when the ground beneath you is shaking. Do not look at the terrifying size of your problems. Look at the infinite size of your God. Let my profound peace silence the frantic what-ifs that keep you awake at night. I am stepping into your mental battlefield today. I am fighting for your peace of mind. Give me your crippling doubts. Give me your endless, exhausting calculations of how things might go wrong. Rest your mind in my absolute sovereignty. Let my calming voice remind you that my hand rests upon your shoulder, providing the strength needed to endure. From this moment on, you will navigate your daily life not by the fearful sight of your current struggles, but by absolute, unshakable faith in my promises. My beloved child, bring your shattered pieces directly to me. I see the deep, hidden fractures in your life that you desperately try to glue back together yourself. I am stepping in today as the great physician, carefully and perfectly binding up your deepest wounds. You have tried to heal yourself with temporary distractions. You have used work, money, toxic relationships, and endless entertainment as bandages for a soul that is bleeding. But those worldly bandages always fall off, leaving you in the exact same pain. Stop hiding your injuries from me. I do not look at your brokenness with disgust. I look at your brokenness with an overwhelming, tender compassion. Hand me the pieces of your broken heart. I am not going to just patch you up. I am going to make you entirely new. Look back at the years you feel you have completely wasted. I am actively restoring the lost, painful years that the swarming locusts have eaten away. I know you look at your past and see lost opportunities, failed careers, and broken marriages. You feel a deep, agonizing regret over the time you spent wandering in the wilderness. You think it is simply too late for you to be happy or successful. But I control time itself. I can do more in a single moment of my favor than you can do in a lifetime of your own exhausting hustle. I will take the very experiences that broke you and use them to build a stronger, more beautiful foundation for your future. The charred ashes of your broken past are currently being traded for a radiant crown of beauty. Give me your ashes. Give me the ruins of your carefully laid plans. Watch what I can build from the rubble of your life. Feel the physical transformation happening inside your chest right now. I am surgically replacing your cold, unyielding heart of stone with a warm, tender heart of flesh. You hardened your heart to protect yourself from being rejected again. You became cynical, cold, and deeply guarded. You built a wall so high that neither pain nor love could get in. I am breaking down that wall. I am softening your spirit. It is safe to feel again. It is safe to hope again. It is safe to trust me. The bitter, poisoned waters of your inner soul are being made instantly sweet by my presence. A lingering bitterness you hold toward those who wrong you is actively poisoning your own joy. Let me filter that toxic bitterness out of your heart. I will replace your deep resentment with my perfect, flowing peace. Stand up and accept your complete healing today. You are being miraculously made completely whole, lacking absolutely nothing in my sight. You are not a damaged, second-class citizen in my kingdom. You are fully restored. When I look at you, I do not see the scars of your past. I see the radiant future I have destined for you. Walk out of your emotional hospital bed. Stop acting like you are still mortally wounded. Step confidently into your daily life knowing that the Creator of the universe has personally healed your deepest pains. Let the world see the miraculous, undeniable transformation I am working within you. You are healed, you are loved, and you are entirely whole. My dear child, step out of the dark, suffocating corner where you have been hiding. You no longer need to cower and hide from me in the overgrown garden of your past mistakes. I see how you walk with your head down, avoiding eye contact with the world, constantly terrified that someone will discover your hidden flaws. You feel completely exposed, just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You replay your worst moments at work, your failures as a parent, and your shortcomings as a spouse. You wear your shame like a heavy, lead blanket that exhausts you before you even begin your day. Drop that heavy blanket right now. Lift up your head with confidence, for I am the eternal lifter of your weary countenance. I am placing my gentle hand under your chin and raising your eyes to meet mine. Look directly into my eyes and hear this absolute truth. The heavy, worldly label of unworthy is entirely washed away by the cleansing blood of the Lamb. Society loves to label you. They label you by your credit score, your job title, your relationship status, and your past failures. You have tragically allowed those cheap, earthly labels to define your entire existence. Tear those labels off right this minute. You are confidently stepping onto the firm, immovable foundation of my unshakable truth. My truth says that you are completely forgiven. My truth says that you are entirely beloved. My truth says that your past does not have the authority to speak into your present anymore. Your previous sins no longer have the power to dictate the trajectory of your eternal future. The enemy loves to remind you of your past because he is terrified of your future. When he tries to drag you back into the cold shadows of your regret, remind him firmly that your debt has been paid in full. Stop trying to pay a bill that I have already stamped paid. You do not have to walk through life constantly apologizing for your mere existence. You do not have to shrink yourself down to make others comfortable. You are a completely new creation. The old, broken version of you is gone, and the new, redeemed version of you is standing right here in my presence. Accept this beautiful, liberating reality today. When I look upon you now, I see only the perfect, unstained righteousness of my beloved Son. I do not see the times you lost your temper. I do not see the times you lied out of fear. I do not see the addictions you struggled to break. I see a child completely covered in my perfect grace. Walk out of the shadows and into the bright, warming sunlight of my love. Hold your head high as you walk into your workplace tomorrow. Speak with a quiet, bold authority of someone who knows they are completely right with their Creator. Leave your crippling shame in the dirt where it belongs. You are clean, you are chosen, and you are profoundly free. My precious one, listen to the very core of who you truly are. Stop chasing after the fragile, temporary identities the world tries to sell you. You are officially and legally adopted into my royal, eternal, and perfectly loving family. This is not a metaphor. It is your ultimate spiritual reality. You are not an orphan wandering aimlessly through a cruel, indifferent universe. You are not a random collection of cells trying to find meaning in a chaotic world. You belong to me. I chose you specifically. I looked across the vast expanse of time, saw your exact face, and said, I want that one. You are a permanent joint heir with Christ to all the unimaginable riches of the kingdom of heaven. Stop living like a spiritual beggar when you possess the keys to the King's treasury. Feel the profound intimacy I am offering you right now. You have the profound privilege to call me Abba, Father, for you are intimately known by me. I am not a distant, angry boss waiting in the sky to punish you for your mistakes. I am your deeply loving dad. I care about the pressure you feel to perform perfectly. I care about the deep loneliness you feel when you are scrolling through social media, constantly comparing your behind-the-scenes reality to everyone else's highlight reel. Stop trying to hustle for your worth. Stop bending over backwards to earn the fleeting applause of people who do not truly know you. You already have the absolute, standing ovation of heaven. You must now walk with the quiet, unshakable confidence of a child who knows they are fiercely adored. Watch how a deeply loved toddler walks into a room. They do not apologize for taking up space. They know they belong there. That is exactly how I want you to walk into your daily life. Your new, true identity is firmly rooted in heaven, completely untouchable by the trials of earth. If you lose your job, you are still my beloved. If your relationship fails, you are still my beloved. If your bank account is empty, you are still my beloved. Your earthly circumstances fluctuate wildly, but your heavenly identity is set in solid stone. Embrace the glorious truth of your creation today. You are my ultimate masterpiece, created entirely anew in Christ Jesus to do wonderful, impactful things. I did not mass-produce you on my heavenly assembly line. I handcrafted every single detail of your personality, your passions, and your mind. Stop hating the very things I carefully design. Stop criticizing your body, your intellect, and your unique quirks. When you criticize yourself, you are criticizing my flawless handiwork. Accept my perfect love for you right now. Let it sink deep into your bones. Wake up every single morning and look in the mirror, declaring boldly, I am the deeply beloved child of the Most High God, and absolutely nothing can change that. Walk in that powerful truth today. Now that you have confidently embraced your royal identity as my beloved child, you finally understand why this urgent message has been relentlessly pursuing you since before the stars were formed. You are a joint heir to my kingdom, and I now call upon you to help me awaken the millions of lost orphans still wandering blindly in the cold shadows. By generously supporting the spread of this word, you are igniting a roaring fire of hope and pouring sweet, healing oil over deeply wounded souls. Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, completely shaken together, and wildly overflowing. This is not a mere coincidence, but a fiercely urgent, divine appointment to multiply the miraculous loaves and fishes for a starving digital generation. As you faithfully open your hands to give, I will actively command an unprecedented blessing upon your own storehouses, fiercely protecting your family and prospering your every step. Exercise your new kingdom authority right this moment. Plant your generous seed by offering a super thanks, becoming a member, or using the PayPal link in the description below. We are so incredibly close to the final dawn, my child. Do not look away now. Do not let your weary mind wander. It deeply saddens me when you lose your focus just moments before I hand you the ultimate keys to your new life. Honor the heavy price I paid for you by staying with me until the very end of this message. The greatest, most powerful promises I have for your future are about to be spoken. Hold fast to my hand and keep listening. My beloved child, take a deep breath and look at the path stretching out right in front of you. I know how deeply terrified you are of making the wrong choice. I see the paralyzing fear of the future that keeps you completely frozen in place. You agonize over career decisions, financial choices, and family issues, terrified that one wrong turn will completely ruin your life. But hear my promise today. My holy word is now a brilliant lamp to your feet and an unfailing light to your forward path. You do not need a massive floodlight that shows you the next 20 years. You only need a lamp to show you the very next step. Trust me enough to take that single step. Acknowledge me faithfully in all your ways, and I promise I will make your earthly path straight. I am not asking you to figure everything out on your own. I am simply asking you to invite me into your daily, mundane decisions. Before you send that difficult email at work, pause and ask for my wisdom. Before you react in anger to your family, pause and ask for my profound patience. Train your spiritual ears to listen for my gentle voice saying, "This is the true way. Walk strictly in it." My voice does not scream over the chaotic noise of the world. My voice is the steady, quiet anchor of peace in your gut when you are trying to decide what to do. Release your desperate grip on control today. You will now be gently led by divine peace, not violently driven by the frantic panic of the world. The world uses panic to motivate you. It tells you to hurry up, or you will completely miss out. It tells you that time is running out and you are falling far behind. That frantic hustle is not from me. If a decision is strictly driven by pure panic, step back. I lead with gentle waters and green pastures, not with a cracking whip. I will personally instruct you and patiently teach you in the exact right way you should go. I am intimately involved in the absolute smallest details of your Tuesday mornings, just as much as I am involved in your massive life milestones. You can trust completely in my providence even when the physical road ahead seems totally obscured by a thick fog. You do not have to see the final destination to know that the guide is perfectly trustworthy. Give me your crippling decision paralysis right now. Hand over the exhausting burden of trying to predict the future. Your job is not to play God. Your job is simply to trust God. Wake up tomorrow morning, seek my face, and take the very next logical step in front of you with bold faith. I am actively opening the right doors, closing the wrong ones, and carefully paving the exact road you are meant to travel. Walk forward with immense confidence, knowing that I am leading you directly into a season of profound blessing and unshakable peace. My beloved child, open your eyes and look directly at the broken people standing right in front of you. Because you have freely received my abundant grace, you must now freely give it away to others. I did not pour my immense, unconditional love into your life just so you could hoard it securely for yourself. My blessings will flow unceasingly toward you, not merely to enrich you, but to enable you to assist those in need and uplift the less fortunate. I desire to work through you, extending your hands to heal the sick and feed the hungry. Look at that difficult coworker who constantly tests your patience. Look at the estranged family member who deeply hurt your feelings. Let your daily life become a living, breathing epistle, easily read by everyone you encounter. When you walk into your office tomorrow, do not just carry your briefcase. carry my profound peace. When you sit at your kitchen table with your family, do not just serve a meal, serve my boundless compassion. Love your neighbors deeply and selflessly, for doing this perfectly fulfills my greatest commandment. I know it is incredibly hard to love people when they are selfish, rude, and deeply flawed. I know your human instinct is to build a high wall and fiercely protect your own energy. But I am asking you right now to step out from behind your defensive barricades. You must forgive those who trespass against you, exactly as I have completely forgiven you. Let go of the bitter grudges you are clutching in your tired hands. That heavy resentment is poisoning your own soul. I will aid you in letting go, for I understand the difficulty of this task. I am calling you to be the exact person who boldly breaks the toxic cycle of anger in your family. Be compassionate and considerate to everyone you meet. From this moment on, you will encounter genuine, intriguing people, and assistance will come from the most unexpected places. Be willing healing hands to the broken and a bold voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. You walk past people every single day who are silently drowning in the exact same anxiety and fear that once threatened to pull you under. They are desperately carrying the heavy illusion of control, completely exhausted by their own independent hustle. Do not just look away. Look them directly in the eyes. Offer a genuine, warm smile. Speak a word of unshakable hope into their chaotic storm. Let others seek you out and see my reflection in you. I want all your family and friends to be astonished by the transformation in your character. They will look upon you and testify to my reality and my ability to aid them. Your completely transformed life is now the absolute greatest testimony of my miraculous saving power. You do not need a theology degree or a polished stage to preach my gospel. The way you handle a sudden financial crisis with total calm is your brilliant sermon. The way you refuse to participate in toxic office gossip is your holy testimony. The way you show up consistently for a friend whose life is falling apart is exactly how you prove that I am entirely real. I have grand plans to use you as a living testament to the boundless power of your omnipotent God. Never underestimate the massive impact of a single, small act of daily obedience. When you choose patience over sudden anger in the traffic jam, when you choose generosity over greed with your finances, you are shifting the very atmosphere around you. Do not sell yourself short. Keep progressing, for my light illuminates your way. You are the physical hands and feet of my kingdom on this earth. Walk forward right now with this profound purpose, actively looking for the exact people I have strategically placed in your path today. My dear child, pause right now and feel the frantic, racing pulse of your own timeline. You are constantly watching the clock, deeply terrified that you are running out of time to achieve your dreams. Do not be consumed by anxiety for anything. My heavenly timing is always entirely perfect. I see how you compare your behind-the-scenes struggles to the carefully curated highlight reels of your peers. You see them getting the promotion, buying the house, starting the family, and you feel a sickening knot of panic in your stomach. You look up and ask me, when is it going to be my turn? I am telling you today, stop rushing. Be patient. Remember that my timings are perfect for each of you. I sustain this entire world with my immense power, and I am certainly capable of managing the delicate schedule of your life. Those who learn to patiently wait upon the Lord shall have their fading strength supernaturally renewed. You are completely exhausted because you are trying to force heavy doors open that I have securely locked for your own protection. Stop breaking your shoulders against walls I have not yet asked you to walk through. I promise to make absolutely everything beautiful and purposeful in its own designated time. Look at the majestic oak tree. It does not grow to full height overnight, and it does not panic in the cold winter. It simply rests, knowing the warm spring is a guaranteed promise. Do not proudly rush ahead of my guiding cloud, nor lazily lag behind my protective pillar of fire. When I say wait, I am not ignoring your pleas. I am actively preparing your foundation. Your difficult seasons of waiting are never cruel punishments, but essential, divine preparations for massive blessing. If I handed you the heavy responsibility of your answered prayers right this second, it would crush you. I am currently expanding your capacity, deepening your spiritual roots, and fortifying your character so that you can actually sustain the massive blessing when it finally arrives. I am not delayed. Here I stand ready to extend my hand and deliver you. Learn to wait for my timing even when patience wears thin. Reassure your anxious heart that fear is entirely unnecessary. The frantic culture of the world strictly demands instant gratification, but I am building an unshakable, eternal legacy directly within you. The wait can be excruciating, the endless contemplation of what might be wearing on your soul. Therefore, I urge you now, give to me all your burdens. Rest securely tonight in the unwavering knowledge that I am actively working all things for your ultimate good. Let not your heart be troubled by thoughts of the future, for such worries are not the life I envision for you. When you lay your weary head on your pillow tonight, deliberately turn off your mental planning committee. Stop calculating your next 5 moves to get ahead at your job. You do not need to figure out tomorrow before today has even finished. I have already stepped into your tomorrow, and I have made every single provision you will ever need. Breathe out your suffocating, human timeline. Breathe in my eternal, restful peace. Trust that the sovereign author of time itself knows exactly which page of your story needs to be turned, and precisely when to turn it. Let go of your desperate need to violently control the clock, and simply rest deeply in the arms of the one who holds eternity. My precious one, lift your eyes away from the exhausting demands of your daily, repetitive grind. I know how unbelievably heavy the world feels on your tired shoulders today. You frantically pay the bills, you navigate the stressful traffic, you deal with deeply difficult people at your job, and you quietly wonder in the back of your mind, is this truly all there is to my existence? Hear me clearly. This broken, earthly world is not, and never was meant to be, your final, eternal home. You are a temporary pilgrim walking through a foreign land. Stop trying to build a permanent, indestructible fortress in a world that is completely fading away. You must set your mind firmly on things above, not on earthly, fleeting, and perishable things. The fierce anxiety you feel about your retirement account, the stress over your social status, the frantic pursuit of a higher salary, these are all temporary, passing concerns that will ultimately turn to dust. I have gone ahead to prepare a specific, magnificent place for you, that exactly where I am, you may be also. I am erasing your suffering and crafting a splendid future for you and those you cherish. Wondrous surprises lie ahead on your journey. The painful sufferings of this present, temporary time are absolutely nothing compared to your coming, unimaginable glory. I know your physical body deeply aches. I know your heart has been shattered by terrible grief. I know the heavy pressure of providing for your family keeps you staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. But the trials you've endured will pale in comparison to the immense joy and fulfillment that await you. Do not let the heavy, suffocating darkness of your current Tuesday morning completely blind you to the eternal, radiant Sunday that is quickly approaching. Vigorously store up for yourselves eternal treasures in heaven where moth and rust cannot destroy. You are accumulating eternal treasures through your steadfast faith, your devotion, and your acceptance of me in your life. When you show unexpected, radical kindness to the person who publicly insulted you, you are making a massive deposit into your heavenly account. When you choose radical honesty in your workplace even when a quiet lie would be vastly more profitable, you are building a permanent, eternal legacy. Stop measuring your ultimate success by the shallow, broken, and toxic metrics of human society. The world loudly applauds wealth, physical beauty, and ruthless ambition, but I applaud quiet faithfulness and a fully surrendered, humble heart. Keep your spiritual lamp burning bright, eagerly anticipating the glorious return of the bridegroom. Do not fall asleep at the wheel of your own precious life. Do not let the endless, mindless entertainment of this modern age completely numb your spiritual senses. Wake up. Stay entirely vigilant. I am calling you to live with a fierce, beautiful urgency. Every single conversation you have, every difficult project you complete with integrity, every tear you gently wipe away from a child's face, it all matters immensely in the grand, eternal scope of my kingdom. Walk firmly in my path, and I will honor you by giving you good things here on earth. But never forget that the absolute greatest reward is simply being with me forever. Lift up your weary head today. You are a royal citizen of heaven, and your true, perfect home is waiting for you. My beloved, precious child, we have reached the very culmination of this divine, intimate conversation. Listen carefully to the absolute certainty in my voice right now. This specific, vital message has finally reached the very depths of your waiting, hungry spirit. You are not the exact same person who started reading these words. Something heavy and dark has shifted permanently inside your chest. The thick, rusting chains of your past regrets have been completely shattered. The suffocating, exhausting illusion of your absolute independence has been lovingly stripped away. Our eternal covenant is now permanently sealed with the promised, unbreakable guarantee of the Holy Spirit. You are no longer wandering aimlessly through the terrifying, lonely wilderness of your own making. You have been found, you have been washed completely clean, and you have been entirely, miraculously restored. You can walk forward today, and every single day for the rest of your earthly life, with absolute, unshakable, and victorious assurance. When the fierce winds howl and the seas rage against you, remember beneath my wings you are sheltered, my hand steadfastly upholding you. When the old, familiar panic tries to violently creep back into your throat during a stressful meeting, you will immediately recognize it as a cheap, powerless lie. O dark power in hell, no cruel rumor in your workplace, and no human force on earth can ever reverse the holy, permanent work I have done in you today. Nothing can pluck you from my hand. No force, no depth, nor any army can stand against me. You are completely, eternally, and utterly safe. Go forth in immense peace, my precious child, for I am walking right beside you always. Do not shrink back in fear when you face tomorrow's unpredictable, chaotic challenges. Go forth and never forget that you are cherished, valued, and deserving of all the wonders life holds for you. Walk into your stressful office with the quiet, bold authority of a king's permanent heir. Walk into your fractured family dynamics carrying the radical, healing power of my grace. I am perpetually by your side because you are immensely important to me. My commitment to you is everlasting, just as my promises are unchanging. You do not have to hustle, strive, or exhaust yourself trying to earn a love that you already possess in absolute, overflowing abundance. Take one final, deep breath right now. Let the pure, clean oxygen of my grace fill your tired lungs one last time. Drop your heavy shoulders. Unclench your tight, anxious fists. Stop fighting the very grace that has already saved you. I want you to remember this exact feeling of peace whenever the loud, chaotic noise of the world tries to drown out my voice again. When you feel the crushing weight of your daily responsibilities threatening to pull you under, immediately recall the promises I have etched directly into your spirit today. You possess the power I always speak of, the power to master your emotions through my spirit, to govern the words you speak, casting aside murmurs of discontent and declarations of defeat. You are fully equipped, you are deeply loved, and you are never, ever alone. Step out into the light, completely victorious. Welcome home, my beautiful child. The absolute truth is, you have been entirely mine since before the very foundation of the world. Amen. This life-altering message has finally reached the deepest soil of your heart, but its divine, unstoppable journey across the broken earth is far from over. I am directly inviting you to become the physical vessel that carries this exact, miraculous deliverance to the next exhausted soul who is desperately crying out for me in the dark. When you actively sow your earthly resources into this heavenly mission, you are throwing a vital lifeline to those who are violently drowning in the chaotic noise of the world. The spiritual night is rapidly approaching, and you are called to be the blazing, unshakable city on a hill that radically refuses to be hidden. Test me in this, and watch as I violently throw open the massive floodgates of heaven, pouring out a financial and spiritual blessing so incredibly vast that your earthly hands cannot contain it. Do not ignore the fierce, burning conviction in your chest right now. Stand boldly on the front lines of this eternal battle and sustain this ministry today by giving a super thanks, joining as a member, or sowing through the PayPal link located in the description. Amen.